Good evening, hockey fans, and what is going on? It is your host, Neil Villapiano, and welcome to another exciting live watch along right here on the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube channel. Tonight, we have a matchup between the visiting Boston Bruins and the Minnesota Wild. This live watch along and everything we do here at the Hockey Podcast Network are sponsored by the awesome people at DraftKings Sportsbook. Make sure when you sign up for DraftKings to use our promo code THPN and tell them Neil Villapiano sent you. And as always, guys, these live watch alongs are comment driven. So if you have a question, a comment, score prediction, anything like that, leave it in the comment section that you can see to your right, and we will show it here on the screen. So we already got some comments in the chat. My good friend Isha, as always in the chat, says Neil is going to root for Boston just to annoy me. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I really again, especially when I don't have a dog in the race and I don't really have a preference as to which team I prefer to win these games. I really don't cheer for either team. I'm just looking hopefully for a good game today. Jacob is going to go with Boston winning 3-2 in overtime. The Bruins are coming off a 2-1 victory in overtime just last night against the Chicago Blackhawks. It was a great game. Andy, Front Row Productions, is saying, let's go Wild. Faggio looks like he is surprised that I am doing this game, but then again, guys, you guys know the drill. I'm trying to do at least one live watch along of every team in the National Hockey League. Have not done a Bruins game yet this year, so this will be the first time I get a chance to do it. Andrew's in the chat saying, real deal, Neil. Good to see you, Andrew. Hope you're doing well on this Wednesday evening. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We do appreciate it. Rainiel Soda saying hi. Good to see you as well, my friend. So is Kat and Danny Burgos. Isha again saying, what's up, Neil? Let's see what else. A Jacob says, no, not Neil. Oh, great. Here it comes. Roast of VGK not making the playoffs. I'm not going to do anything like that today, Jacob. So don't worry. Also, I should mention the fact that the Foligno brothers are facing off against one another today. Marcus Foligno of the Minnesota Wild and Nick Foligno, the Boston Bruins. So the Foligno family will definitely be watching this one. Andy says, Neil, we can hear an echo. I think that's... I don't think anybody else is saying that, but if anybody else is hearing an echo, let me know so I can see if I can fix that. Beer Sports Whatever podcast saying, hi, Neil. Good to see you guys. Hope you're doing well today. Vegas not making the playoffs. All right. Jacob saying, hey again. Baggio asking Isha if he delivered his mug. We'll see what happens there. Catch cheering on the Wild. Rainiel Sodas changed his profile picture to the Vegas Golden Knights. Fair enough. Andy wants a mug. I'm sure if, again, if you're in the live watch alongs when Isha and Dylan are doing them, you are most likely going to get an opportunity to win something. So make sure you guys are here for those 100%. Isha says, all prize winners merch has been sent. Takes 2 to 4 weeks from Teespring. So there's an update for you guys. Danny says Devils lost 6-3 last night to the Vancouver Canucks. They did indeed. They fought back from down 2-0, but ultimately lost 6-3. Definitely a tough game to lose. But they luckily will have an opportunity to bounce back later on tonight, 10 o'clock, when they take on the Calgary Flames. Soda Pod, not surprising. They are in the chat today saying, let's go. I'm sure you guys are excited that I'm doing a Minnesota Wild game. I've done a few this year, so I'm sure you guys are happy about that. But good to see you guys. Hopefully you're doing well here today. Great to see you as always. Great to see you as well, RJ. Thank you so much for coming on and saying hi. Josh says, hi, Neil. Great to see you. Great to see you, Josh. But will the Capitals make the playoffs? I think there's a very good chance, Andy, that the Capitals will make the playoffs, barring some crazy collapse. So I don't think we have much to worry about that. Josh is going to go with the Minnesota Wild. He says, go Wild. Kat says there's a little bit of an echo, but it's not that bad. But if you can fix it, that's great. I will do what I can. I know this... I know the room that I'm in, we kind of cleaned it up a little bit, so maybe that's partially why, but let me see what I can do to kind of fix that. I do apologize for for the Echo. The Basketball Podcast Network says go THPN. I should let you guys know that these next couple of weeks are going to be really exciting for the Basketball Podcast Network because not only are they going to continue to do NBA games, but starting this week, they are also going to be doing NCAA March Madness basketball games, mostly focusing on the men's tournament, which is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be doing a handful of those games, so I am very much looking forward to doing those later on this week. So make sure you guys go subscribe and punch notification bell of the Basketball Podcast Network as well. Jacob says, go Boston. They're my third favorite team after Vancouver and Vegas Golden Knights. All right, Jacob. Jacob says he doesn't hear an echo. So I think, so again, it's kind of a weird thing how some people say they hear an echo. Some people say they don't. So again, I will try to do as best as I can to try to fix that. And we'll kind of go from there. Isha says, merch store link on THPN homepage for those wanting some sweet merch like our prize winners. Yes, I do have some merch of my own from the Hockey Podcast Network. And if you guys are fans and want to show your support of the network, you guys go get yourself some merch as well. He also says, thanks everyone for joining. Subscribe, like, watchalongs every day. Absolutely, guys. So if you're enjoying this content so far, make sure to leave a like on the stream, subscribe, and punch notification bell so you don't miss any new live watchalongs that we do right here on the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube channel. New live watchalongs every single day here, covering every single team in the National Hockey League and doing hockey live watchalongs in general. And also, as Isha points out again with all donations, we also do have a donation button. You guys don't have to. It's not required, but it is obviously appreciated. All donations go back to the hosts like myself. So if you do want to give us a little bit of money to continue to show your support to not only the channel, but certainly to the hosts like ourselves, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Jacob saying, Caps, Leafs, Boston, Avs, Wild, Flames are all first-round exits. I probably wouldn't bet on the Caps, Boston, Avs, or maybe Wild necessarily, but I could see with the Leafs and Flames where you're coming from, Jacob. So there you go. Isha says, you sound good to me, Neil. All right, so there we go. So I think some people, maybe they have to, turn off and turn on their computer potentially or wherever they're listening to this. But seems like for the most part, we're doing good today. So we're off to a good start here in this one. Fajia says, there is a chance, and he's talking about the Winnipeg Jets, there is a chance we can make the playoffs, but I don't think so because there's 3 teams ahead of us. Yeah, the Western Conference, fighting for those 2 wild card spots is certainly going to be a dogfight to the end. I know that Vancouver just jumped up to just a point currently behind the Vegas Golden Knights for the second wildcard spot going into tonight's matchup. So certainly things are not going to get that much easier moving forward for any of these teams trying to make a run at getting into the playoffs. Kat says, when does March Madness start? Well, technically it started yesterday with the 2, what do they call it? Like the first 4 in games. So we had 2 matchups last night. We have 2 more. I think one of them is actually on right now. And then starting tomorrow is when the official round of 64 begins. And then we'll have a very busy next couple of days. And I think it definitely is going to be kind of interesting with the fact that a lot of these games are going to be starting at like 12, 2, 3 in the afternoon. So if you do have some time to watch some of these games, make sure you guys do that. And also make sure to fill out your brackets wherever you're going to fill them out and get ready for that. Jacob says, Duke winning March Madness. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised since it is Mike Krzyzewski's last year coaching that maybe he'll get a little bit of break here or there, but I guess only time will tell. Andy says, Duke will probably win. I agree. So we got 2 people in here who are believing that Duke will win the national championship. So we'll see. The Wild are also coming into this game after trading away Nico Sturm to the Colorado Avalanche for Tyson Jost. So Tyson Jost will be making his Minnesota Wild debut tonight against the Boston Bruins. So we are less than a week away from the NHL trade deadline. It is coming up on this Monday. So from now until Monday, I think things are going to slowly pick up because there's going to be a lot of moves that have to be made. It's a little quiet right now, but I guarantee you over the next couple of days, things are going to get crazier and crazier with this deadline. Kat says, Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day, so happy St. Patrick's Day to you all. Thank you so much, Kat. Yes, it is indeed for everybody who, I would say obviously mostly for the people who are Irish. It's obviously an important day on the calendar. I know for a lot of young people like myself, it's another excuse to go out and have a good time, let's say. Again, it is what it is, but still, I hope you guys all have a happy and safe St. Patrick's Day. Andy says, thank you since I'm Irish. Jacob says, already have $100 on them losing in the first round, but for the Leafs, I have $500. For somebody as young as you are, Jacob, to have that much money to put down, that's quite impressive. And hopefully you use DraftKings if you were allowed to. You can use DraftKings and use our promo code THPN. Kat says, I'm hoping Michigan does well. Let's go Wolverines. I do argue that I believe that Michigan really shouldn't be in the national tournament considering they had a very mediocre season. And, I have a few other choice words that I'm going to keep PG for this one. But nonetheless, it should be a fun March Madness as it always. I know Michigan starts off in the round of 64 against Colorado State. I believe that will be tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. We'll have a lot of games over the next 2 days. HBF is in the chat. What's going on, man? Good to see you as always. Hope you're doing well. Says, yo, Neil, I made a Lego Hockey League. I started my channel. It's been quite then. I brought it back today. The Leafs played Vancouver and won 5-0, and Pens beat Montreal 5-4. OT, then Chicago lost to Philly. Very, very cool, HBF. Keeping yourself very, very busy, involving yourself in the game of hockey. Absolutely love it, man. Baggio says, today's drinking game. Neil asked to donate more than 10 times, chug half of it. Neil goes on break more than 7 times, down the entire bottle. The team that Neil didn't root for wins 5 shots. Well, I'm not rooting for either team. So I guess the better way to look at it is that whichever team I predict is going to win this game, Faggio. So that a little bit of an update there. HPS says Blackhawks lost 7-3. Lego Hockey League is called the Lego Hockey League. Fair enough. RJ giving us some score updates. Again, Bruins Wild game that we're covering tonight starts at 7:30. Columbus Blue Jackets gets Ottawa Senators also at 7:30. Seattle Kraken, Tampa Bay Lightning at 10. And the New Jersey Devils are in Calgary taking on the Calgary Flames also at 10 o'clock. This game, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is on national TV on TNT. So if you're in America, just turn over to TNT and you can watch the game along with us. If you don't have a link to the game, no worries. NHL 66 and Stream East as well offer it. And if you also have ESPN Plus, you could certainly find a opportunity to find a stream for that as well to watch this game along with us. And we appreciate all of you guys. Thank you, RJ, as always, for the updates. We appreciate it. And he says, who's on spring break? Well, since I've been out of school for a couple of years now, I'm not really on spring break, but it is spring break for a lot of people. So hopefully people are enjoying it. Faji says, so how do you do a Lego Hockey League? What? Yeah, is it kind of interesting, HBF? If you could give us more context as to how that works, let us know. RJ is saying also there will be 10 more games tomorrow in the NHL. So a little bit busier of a day on Thursday as we have a pretty quiet evening today with just 4 games in total. So 8 teams playing today. Jacob says, now Stream East is bad. NHL 66 has less delay. All right, so there you go. So again, NHL 66 might be the best way for you guys to find a stream to watch the game along with us, but Stream East is still available. Faji says, Neil, you froze. Everything seems to be okay. Again, maybe it was the connection for just a second. If it was, I do apologize for that as always. But some things are, for the most part, out of my control. But I do the best to control what I can control. HBF is also on March break or spring break as they call it. So that is fun. And I'm glad you guys are spending some of your spring break hanging out with us here today. Jacob says, I use Stream East for my LA Lakers games and Angels games. That makes sense. Considering that you're not in the area, I think that's a very good way to do that. New customers, by the way, bet $1 to win $100 on DraftKings. If you use our promo code THPN, that's kind of like one of the new promotions that DraftKings has for this. So just kind of something to let you guys know. HBF says, so I have Lego hockey players like Sid the Kid, Matthews, and Price. Then I have a Lego hockey puck, and it's like my other league. I guess you can kind of make that work. It definitely probably would require a lot of time, but I'm literally watching Paul Bissonnette chug a Red Bull on the pregame show of NHL TNT Faceoff, which I do have to say, ladies and gentlemen, I think that TNT has done a fantastic job with the way that they've covered the NHL since they got some of the rights to these nationally televised games. They really put in a lot of effort. They show that they care, and I think it's very, very important when you compare it to ESPN, which ESPN just flat out just does not give a rat's ass about hockey. And we all knew that from the start. So I think it's great. And you have guys like Paul Bissonnette, Anson Carter, Rick Tocchet. You do have Wayne Gretzky on there as well. I think it's great that they have some of these great personalities on there. And Liam McHugh, who used to be the main host for NHL on NBC, is the main host for NHL Faceoff. And I think having a guy like Paul Bissonnette just makes it more entertaining for people, especially people who are not considered to be, major hockey people. So I think that's kind of a cool thing to, I think it's very cool the way that TNT broadcasts these games. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are just about ready to get underway in our game tonight between the Minnesota Wild and the Boston Bruins. It's at the XL Energy Center in St. Paul, Minnesota. Kenny Albert and Eddie Olczyk are going to be the main broadcasters, while Keith Jones will be the man between the benches. So this is going to be a fun one. Let me know in the comment section what your predictions are. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Wild to win this one by the score of 3-2 in regulation. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I think Boston will be a little bit tired from last night's OT thriller against Chicago. Minnesota got a little bit more energy in them, and they're playing at home. So obviously they're going to want to come out and have a good game today, and I think they do have a little bit of an edge, but I do still question the goaltending of Minnesota, but we're not going to get into that very much unless it becomes a problem here in this one. But the ref is at center ice, so are the players. The puck is dropped, and we're underway here tonight in our game between the Minnesota Wild and the Boston Bruins. So this should be a good one. Both teams looking to secure a playoff spot. There's a good chance that both of them end up being wild card teams, but still, they're both definitely they're coming into this game certainly with it being a must-win situation. It was for a second when you responded to the spring break question. Well, at least it was only for a second. I mean, that's obviously it would be a lot worse if it was longer than that. Wait, y'all in the U.S. already have spring break? Apparently so. I mean, again, I haven't been in school for a couple of years, so I don't know how much it changes from year to year, but apparently it is spring break, so there you go. RG says 4 days first spring. All right. What's going on, Nolan Stevens? Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well today on this Wednesday evening. Nolan, while you're here, my friend, leave a like on the stream as well as subscribe if you haven't already. It does help out the channel tremendously. He says, have you played Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2? I actually have rarely ever played any of the Modern Warfares when I used to play video games, but I will say this, the graphics have just gotten better and better with the new gaming systems that they have there. Very impressive. What's going on, JT? Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well today on this Wednesday evening. He says, remember, no Russian. Very, very true. He says, Doc Emmerich, a legend. He certainly is. Arguably, I don't even think it's arguably. It's without a doubt, he's the greatest broadcaster in hockey history. Jeremy Swayman with a 24-10-3 record is in net for Boston, while Cam Talbot, who's coming in with a 22-12-1 record, is in net for the Minnesota Wild. So that is the goaltending matchup here. So we're just a little under 90 seconds into our contest here this evening. JT is going to go with a 5-2 win for the Wild. Thank you for the prediction, JT. And I kind of showed a warm-up and talked about the teams. Very, very cool, HBF. Nick Berlansky, one of the hosts of the Tip of the Iceberg podcast, which covers the Pittsburgh Penguins here on the Hockey Podcast Network, and the host of Hockey Hotbed is in the chat. Says, what's up, MVP? Kel and I are tuning in. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me tonight. Really do appreciate it. Hope you two lovely people are having a fantastic Wednesday evening, and we appreciate you spending some of it with us here today. Baggio says, if Boston wins, because Neil said Minnesota would win, 10 shots. All right. Fair enough, Baggio. Fair enough. BC Hockey Podcast. That's Ishan Dillon's podcast, which covers British Columbia hockey, Vancouver Canucks, and also some teams out there in juniors and things like that. Is in the chat. Good to see you guys as always. Says Nick is a beauty. Certainly is. He's another guy that's been doing live watch-alongs here on the on the channel. So we appreciate him 100%. We appreciate all of you guys hanging out with us today. Jacob says 30 likes before the Wild score. Don't worry, they won't score till third or second starts. All right, Jacob. We'll see if we can get ourselves. Let's try to get ourselves to 50 likes today, guys. What do you say? Let's get to 50 likes for this stream. Would appreciate it. So like and subscribe while you're here, guys, if you're new. As Kevin Fiala with a shot that gets blocked, and then the puck trickles right to Jeremy Swayman, who cover. Face off in the Boston zone, 17:48 to go in the first period, again, between the Boston Bruins and the Minnesota Wild. Hockey history is a stretch. How is that a stretch? How is that a stretch? How is Doc Emrick, me considering Doc Emrick the greatest broadcaster in hockey history, a stretch? Explain that to me. Gary Thorne is certainly up there. There's no question about it. I know there's some good Canadian broadcasters over time, and yes, can it seem like I'm being a little bit biased? Yeah, but still, I don't think even a lot of Canadian fans would disagree with my statement. Nick Berlansky going to go with a 4-1 win for the Minnesota Wild. All right. I think Jacob might be the only one so far that is predicting Boston to win, if I'm not mistaken. SodaPod is going to go with a 4-2 win for the Minnesota Wild. All right. Baji says, I'm rushing for some turkey because I'm hungry. Oman, was that too corny? Yeah, no, that was really corny. I mean, Israel is so Yemen. That's very corny, Fagio. Very corny indeed. But I like the way you're going. SodaPod says almost a 1,300. Yeah, we are currently at what, 12 points? We're like at 1.29, so we are nearly at 1,300 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. So again, share this with your family and friends, and if you are new, make sure you subscribe. And let me know, by the way, when you guys subscribe, if you're new, in the chat, so I can shout you out here on the stream. BC says, great Canadian broadcasters. Mike Lange is certainly up there. Oh, no, there's no doubt about that. Mike Lange is like top 5, maybe even top 3, if you really, really want to go there, Nick, because honestly, like his calls, like some of his like great calls are some that like many hockey fans know. It's great. As a shot there by John Merrill goes wide of the net. Minnesota has the puck, gets over to Merrill again. He takes a wrist shot. It got blocked. It just went wide. Even after the shot got blocked, it almost passed Jeremy Swayman and into the net, but it just trickled wide as we just approached about 4 minutes into the first period. Still no score here between the Wild and Bruins. As now here comes Matt Zuccarello, gives it into the slot to Kaprizov, tried to feed it over to Dumba, he cannot. And then the defenseman for Minnesota got a shot, but it just trickled wide. As now Kaprizov fires it around the boards, gets it over to Matt Dumba, now to Zuccarello. Zuccarello with it now, spinning around a defenseman. Then he gets hit along the boards, but Kaprizov regains it for Minnesota. Kaprizov with a right face-off circle, holds, loses the puck for a second to Brad Marchand, and has to come out of the zone and restart. Fudge said, sorry I had to pull that joke someday on someone. Well, it's always a good place to pull some good jokes here, Fagio, so we appreciate it. HBF says, so the teams in my Lego Hockey League, the teams are the Leafs, Montreal, Pens, Philadelphia, Blackhawks, Canucks, and the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, slowly, not as many teams, but it is early days. Fagio says, the Bruins announcer is number 1, obviously. Yeah, for all of the very biased calls that he will make. Which one are you talking about, by the way? I'm sure. Are you talking about from the TV standpoint or the radio, Fagio? I'm assuming you're talking about TV. I think you're talking about the guy on NESN, I'm assuming. Andy says, I'm craving ice cream. Well, go get some, man. Go get some and enjoy it with us. As now Charlie McAvoy keeps the puck in for Boston. Over to Grizzly, who gets hit along the boards. Boston try to set something up here. David Pastrnak falls to his knees but gets to McAvoy. McAvoy with a wrist shot. That one sticked aside by Talbot. Pastrnak one-time pass over to Kelly, and that shot is stopped and covered by Talbot. Good one-time pass from Pastrnak to Kelly, but the goaltender Talbot was able to get over there and make a save. As we showed moments ago, Clifford getting rocked by Foligno, and then just right after that, Smith got checked from behind by Matt Dumba. No penalty called there. So the Wild showing their physicality early on in this game. As I'm not surprised that this is going to probably be a relatively physical game because these two teams have big bodies. They're not afraid to throw it around. and creating. And also, this is going to be somewhat of a playoff atmosphere because, again, both of these teams are trying to fight for a playoff spot as we're getting a penalty here, as I believe Kevin Fiala got knocked down almost close to a knee-on-knee. But nonetheless, the Boston Bruins are going to the sin bin, so the Wild will have their first chance on the power play here with 14:20 to go in the opening period, and the game is still scoreless. BC says, Jim Hudson and John Shorthouse are amazing as well. No, there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about it. I was just going off of my own opinion. I think Doc Emmerich is number one, but that doesn't mean that I'm discrediting some of the other great broadcasters we've had in the game of hockey over the years. Jacob says, Neil, get your ODD brother to say this. Jack Eichel is hot. So he wants my brother to say Jack Eichel's hot. That's really sus. But anyway, back to the game here is Kevin Fiala with the puck. Feeds it over to Matt Dumba, but he couldn't get enough of it. Dumba regains it, though. It's over to Boldy, wraps it around the boards. Fiala gets there first. Boldy now fires it back over to the left side. Matt Dumba gets there. Now gets it over to Gaudreau. Now to Fiala. Kevin Fiala with it now. The Wild are 10 for 47 on the power play since the All-Star break, just a little bit under 22%. So clearly the power play has not been a strong suit of Minnesota. So now Marchand takes a shot shorthanded that gets blocked, and now the Wild will look to come the other way with speed. As now Dumba drops it off, gets it over. Now opportunity for Boldy, holds it, waits for reinforcements. Matthew Boldy again. Boldy on the left faceoff circle with it, gets it top of the point to 47. Now over to his defensive partner, gets it over to Boldy, back to 47. Gets over now to Kevin Fiala, back to 47, top of the blue line. Back to Fiala, right side, takes a wrist shot, and that one goes right into the glove of Swayman. Covered here, 13-11 to go in the first, 51 seconds to go on the Minnesota power play. Still no score here. Let's see here. The dude that got pissed that a Leaf was injured and they stopped the play on a Bruins break. I do remember that, Fagio. I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't remember his name, but I do remember that incident. Fagio says he's obviously the best. Oh, he certainly is. BC says Doc is good. Don't get us wrong. No, I'm not denying it. It's a shot there by Minnesota, and they score. It's Kirill the Thrill Kaprizov on the power play. And with 13:05 to go in the first, the Wild have struck first. It's 1-0. And in a big-time game like this with some big-time talent on both sides, Kirill the Thrill Kaprizov had to get it going. Wild won the face-off. Defenseman gave it to Kaprizov almost at the top of the blue line. He takes a wrist shot through a screen. Good feed from Goligoski. Kaprizov goes top shelf over the right shoulder of Swayman and in, and the Wild strike first. So a big-time goal by Kaprizov, and the Wild get themselves rolling with Kaprizov's 31st goal of the season. Nick Berlizzi says, waffle boarded. That is true. That is true. Also, Nick's asking, who is winning the Calder Trophy and why is it not Michael Bunting? The only reason why it's not Michael Bunting, and especially if Isha's still in here, is because Matthew Boldy is a beaut. But no, I think it definitely is Michael Bunting's Calder Trophy to lose at this point, albeit he's not really a rookie, but again, technically speaking, he is, because he's a pretty older rookie, but then again, so was Kaprizov technically. But I do think it's probably going to be Michael Bunting. The only guy I can really see making a run, and this is a big if, is probably a guy like Dawson Mercer. And I know that's going to sound biased, but Dawson Mercer has really been playing well of late on that top, on that top six, also working on the bottom six a little bit, being able to create opportunities left and right with his speed, and also his top 5 in points and goals this season. I think he's also top 5 in points for all these is for rookies, by the way. So I think he does have a shot, but he'd have to get himself he'd have to go on a streak of getting really, really good to get himself in that conversation. But right now, Nick, I would definitely say it's probably Michael Bunting's to lose at this point. Sotapod says Kirill Kaprizov. Andy's pumped up, says yay, go Wild. How good is Zuccarello, though? Career high in points after tonight. Watch. Zuccarello, I don't know if you necessarily say he's found the fountain of youth because he's obviously older than what he was when he was playing with the New York Rangers, but he has certainly thrived playing with the Minnesota Wild since he got here, even with different players, and certainly since he's been playing with Kirill Kaprizov, which shows you how much better, Zuccarello has gotten as a player and how good of a player Kaprizov is in general. But Zuccarello has been a really, really good not a good find, but definitely a good player for the Minnesota Wild. And I'm sure they're happy to have him. And he's a guy that they're definitely going to be looking to help get their scoring going once they get into playoffs. As that shot by Minnesota is deflected out of play. So we get our first stoppage of the night. 11:08 to go in the first. Kirill Kaprizov's 31st goal of the year on the power play gives the Wild the 1-0 lead here over the Boston Bruins. Sotapod says, Nick Calder is obviously going to Matthew Boldy, as I just mentioned to you. There you go. And again, I told you that Isha and the guys from the Soda Pod were going to come on here and talk about Matthew Boldy. Isha says 100% going to be Matthew Boldy. So there you go. Yes, Isha said Boldy. I agree. Andy says Boldy. I think a lot of people go with Boldy. The age thing isn't an issue to me, but I still would think Boldy, Seider, Raymond, Zegras are all way more impressive. They certainly are in their own rights. I mean, and you got to feel good, right? You got to feel good if you're Stevie Y, Steve Yzerman, and you have not one but two of the top 5 rookies in the NHL right now, in Moritz Seider and Lucas Raymond. And if you remember, Raymond at the beginning of the year was rocking and rolling. He was the clear favorite early on this season to win the Calder Trophy. He's quieted down of late, but still has been able to produce a lot. And honestly, having those two guys as your part of your cornerstone moving forward is a luxury to have for Stevie Y, who just said today, everybody but Seider and Raymond is available in a trade. So that is kind of interesting. So we'll see if anything, materializes from that. Jacob with another sus comment saying, the whole VGK team is hot. Wait, not everyone, our GMs is ugly and shit, which means we should fire him. Sure, if you think that's the reason why. Sotapod says, the Lizard Man has 60 points in 50 games. Yes, obviously, Matt Zuccarello has had himself one hell of a year. And I think it's just, again, one of the things that I want to give credit to is the way that Billy Guerin has built this team. I don't remember if Billy Guerin was with Minnesota by the time Zuccarello came over, but I think that when you look at where the Minnesota Wild are now, and a couple of years ago when they were starting to slowly build this team, I look at acquiring Matt Zuccarello a couple of years ago as that first big move that got them to where they are now. And he has certainly been a tremendous player for Minnesota, and I'm sure the Wild fans love him to death. Nick Berlansky says, Ben Sherratt traded to Florida. Is that confirmed? Let me check. Because I'm kind of curious to know. Is that actually confirmed, Berlansky? Let me know in the chat if that's confirmed. We got a fight here as Friedrich and Duhaime are dropping the gloves. They're both grabbing at each other, kind of pushing and shoving at the moment. Duhaime with a left hook, then comes back with a right hook on Friedrich. Friedrich just trying to grab something. He throws a right hook, knocks down Duhaime. Duhaime comes back with a right hook of his own. It's a bloody brawl right here as both guys throwing haymakers right now. Friedrich with another right hand by Friedrich. He's just flinging him right now, and he throws down Duhaime, and that will do it for an exciting fight there between Friedrich and Duhaime. And so that's going to get the crowd a little bit more juiced up. Maybe Friedrich was doing it to kind of get the Bruins going here a little bit. But they're showing a flashback back to January 6th where Friedrich boarded Kaprizov. And then I believe it was Kulikov. Yeah, it was Dmitry Kulikov and Friedrich that went at it. And then I think Duhaime came in a little bit after that. So I guess that was a little bit of revenge from that situation back then. But it was right off the face-off, and they decided to go at it. Tampa's playing the Canadiens, and the Leafs are going to play the Pens, and Flyers are going to play Vancouver in that league that HBF has. Thank you, man. Stevie Y is the best GM of our time. I don't disagree with that. Honestly, when you look at what he built in Tampa, now what he's slowly doing in Hockey Town, no question. Jacob says, Vegas Golden Knights, it's Vegas Golden Hotties. That's again sus. Ben is in the chat. Good to see you, Ben. Hope you're doing well today, my friend. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate it, my friend. Isha says they hated him last year. Wild fans, fair enough. Isha also says Duhaime. Berlansky says, yes, sir. Elliot Friedman did confirm. Wow. So we have a major trade. Ben Sherratt traded to the Florida Panthers from Montreal. So we'll see what else is what ends up being the compensation. You questioning my journalistic integrity? All right, we fight, buddy. Drop the mitts. I don't know if we'll drop the mitts the way Duhaime and Friedrich just did, but I guess we're gonna have to do that. But Berlansky, while you're here, can you put in the chat when you get a chance what did Montreal ended up getting in return for Ben Chiarot? I told you guys that we're less than a week away from the deadline. The deadline is Monday, and slowly but surely we're going to get big moves. Ben Chiarot was one of the top defensive guys that could be on the move during this deadline, and sure enough, here just a few moments ago, he goes to the Sunshine State to play with the Florida Panthers. So their defensive core in Florida just got a lot better with Ben Chiarot going there. So that is a big pickup. Audrey says, there was this dude named Brian Lawton, picked first overall in 1983. He put up 266 points in 483 games, so he's a bust. Worst part, LaFontaine went third, Yzerman went fourth, and Cam Neely went ninth. Are you kidding me? At the end of the day, Faggio, we all make mistakes, especially when we evaluate players. Sometimes we don't know. I look at a guy like Jesper Bratt of the New Jersey Devils. He was a 6th-round pick, and he's our best player right now. He's leading the team in points, tied for the team leads in goals, has the most assists, and is probably the most underrated player, one of the most underrated players in the National Hockey League. So sometimes we just don't, we don't really know the answer to some of these guys until they get on the ice. We get a penalty here. Looks like it's going to be against Eric Hall of the Bruins. So with 10:19 to go here in the first period and the Wild already leading on a power play goal, they're going to be looking to try to see if they can get their second one of the night and grab a 2-0 lead. So we'll see what they can do here. SodaPod says, do him. Is it do him? How it's pronounced? Do him. Or it's do him. That makes more sense. Duhaime. All right. My apologies, SodaPod, but thank you for that clarification. Really appreciate it, my friend. Hoppy is the pronunciation police. He can be. I think I've been on the SodaPod before. I believe I mispronounced one or two names. I may have even mispronounced Duhaime. And so I apologize for that. As a breakaway chance for Kaprizov. And that one is stopped by Swayman. I don't know how in the world Kaprizov got a breakaway on the power play, but he tried to go low, right pad side, but Swayman made the save. And now an opportunity for Jake DeBrusk coming the other way shorthanded with a shot, and that one just goes over the net. So an opportunity there for Jake DeBrusk, another guy that could potentially be on the move at the deadline. But he had an opportunity to tie the game, but he could not score there. RJ says, currently it's 1-0 Senators over the Blue Jackets in the first period. Thank you, RJ. What's going on, Penguins? Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We do appreciate it and saying hi. Hope you're doing well today. While you're here, my friend, leave a like on the stream as well as subscribe. It helps out the channel tremendously, my friend. Nick Berlansky says, nothing else announced, just Chiarot as of now. All right, Berlansky, well, if you're still here and you get a chance to report that, we'd appreciate it. One of the journalists for the Hockey Podcast Network and Nick Berlansky, one of our insiders here. As now the Bruins have the puck shorthanded. DeBrusk will drop it off to number 20 of Boston as they'll look to kill some clock here. 30 seconds to go on the power play. 8:48 to go in the first. Wild still up 1-0. He just says, don't apologize to him. Sometimes I like to apologize, especially if I make a mistake, as that one's intercepted by Boston, and they'll clear it back down into the Wild zone. Even worse, the GM of the Red Wings said that if the North Stars picked Steve Yzerman instead of Lawton, he thinks North Stars would have stayed in Minnesota. Imagine the league with no Dallas. I think by now we probably would have gotten a team in Dallas, but who knows? Probably Minnesota North Stars would have indeed stayed. We do not know. What is going on, Kayla? Thank you so much for leaving a comment. We do appreciate it. Kayla, while you're here, my friend, leave a like on the stream as well as subscribe. It really does help out the channel 100%. Over under, how many years till Jack Hughes joins his brother Quinn? None. How about that? Because he's not going to. And I really wish you people would stop. Because you people are acting like Jack Hughes is going to be the one that ends up leaving to go to Vancouver. It's way more likely that Quinn ends up leaving to go to New Jersey because 2 of his 3 brothers are in New Jersey already. So there you go. So no, I would say that there's no way that Jack Hughes ends up in Vancouver. I'm not saying that there's any way that Jack Hughes would end up somewhere else other than the Devils, but certainly not Vancouver. So we get a stoppage of play here. 8:44 to go in the first period. The Wild still leading at 1-0 on a goal by Kirill Kaprizov. I know Isha certainly appreciates that Kayla asked me this question, considering the fact that he cheers for the lovely Vancouver Canucks. Let's all celebrate Ovi's 767 goal. Yes, he finally passed Jaromir Jagr last night to move into third place officially on the all-time NHL's goal-scoring list. So congratulations to Ovechkin. Berlansky says, "Let's go Pens." Obviously, a Penguins fan cheering for Penguins. City Life Project says she's a keeper, Lansky. That is true. That is true. Let's go Vegas Golden Hotties. Jacob, enough with the sus comments, my friend. Enough. City Life Project says Kayla knows what's up. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fagio says, if anything with the Hughes bros happens, Quinn will go to New Jersey because they kind of need to play together with all three Hughes brothers. There's a much more likely chance that Quinn ends up in New Jersey in the Garden State at some point. Kayla says, I know. But Kayla, you know what? We appreciate you nonetheless, my friend. And again, leave a like on the stream and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps out the channel tremendously. Lauren is in the chat, as she always is. Good to see you, Lauren, today. I hope you're doing well on this Wednesday evening. She says, my Steelers made a great signing in Miles Jack. They did sign Miles Jack about an hour ago. You also did sign Mitch Trubisky. So that's kind of an interesting situation, but I guess we'll see if it pays out. BC says, haha, you people. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm calling it out. BC, by the way, how was your lunch stream today recapping the game against the Devils last night? I'm sure you guys had a hell of a time talking about last night's game. JT says, Miles Jack had an interception against the Steelers in 2017 to beat them in the playoffs, so it all comes full circle. JT also says, go Leafs, and he says, hashtag all caps. Jacob is indeed sus, JT. There's no question about that. Ovi will be the best scorer of all time. I honestly have no doubt about that. And again, Wayne Gretzky wants him to break it. Everybody wants him to break it. I think that at least Ovechkin will finish in second place all time. But I think there's a good chance he could actually end up being the all-time goal-scoring leader when it's all said and done. JT says, Leafs are the best. Leafs 22 champs. Let's see if they can win a playoff series first, JT. He also says the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl next season. Again, let's see if they can actually not choke in the playoffs, JT. Mitch Trash Bisky. Yeah, you can make an argument for that. You can make an argument, but maybe in a lesser role now, Trubisky could actually do something, so we'll see. First round Leafs, baby. Yep. Again, kind of one of those things where until proven otherwise, I can't see the Toronto Maple Leafs going very far in the playoffs. I really can't. We got 6:48 to go here in the first period of our game between the Boston Bruins and Minnesota Wild. The Wild scored earlier in this period on a power play goal by Kirill the Thrill Kaprizov, his 31st of the year. Shots are currently 7 apiece. Right now tied at 7 apiece. So it's been a pretty physical defensive game so far, but we at least have the breakthrough here with the Wild having the only goal so far. BC says it was very fun. The Devils played horrible. We played horrible in the second period. And to be fair, you were facing a goaltender that was playing in his 8th game in a row. And also, you did blow a 2-0 lead at one point. So you were pretty fortunate that you still won the game anyway, as Charlie McAvoy comes in with a shot. And he tried to take a roofer there, but he shot it too high over the net. And the follow-up try there is deflected out of play. So we get a face-off here. 6:01 to go in the first. Wild still up 1-0. JT, he has many playoff wins as Dak Prescott. That is for damn sure. Lawrence says, I'm not a fan of Mitch Trubisky signing. He has been ridiculed by fans, especially by Packers fans. On the 2018, hasn't done much. That is very, very true. But again, he seemed to have, and again, we don't know because he didn't play very much when he was at Buffalo. But he seems to have a little bit more confidence in himself. And maybe with adding some pieces here and there, during the draft and things like that, maybe in some more free agency, Lauren, just maybe Mitch Trubisky could be a half-decent guy. If nothing else, he's just a placeholder for the next year or two when they draft a franchise quarterback, i.e., they're probably still going to draft Kenny Pickett in the first round of the draft. So we'll see. As a pass there by Hartman to Goligoski was broken up. Goligoski was wide open right in front of the net, but he had his back to the net, so he really couldn't control the puck very well. JT says, Wayne Gretzky has like 1 million goals. It certainly feels that way. And he doesn't believe in the Leafs either. Fair enough. It's a shot there by Kaprizov, and he scores! Kirill the Thrill Kaprizov again! He gets his second of the game. And with 5:32 to go in the first, the Wild have doubled the lead. It's now 2-0. So we'll see a replay here. Zuccarello gets the puck, makes a long pass to a streaking Kaprizov on a partial breakaway, goes far glove side past Swayman and in, and Kaprizov with his 32nd of the year, his second of the game, has given the Wild a 2-0 lead. So Kaprizov, just a goal away already from a hat trick. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're a betting person, go to DraftKings right now, use our promo code THPN, and bet some money that Kaprizov is going to get himself a hattie. Because the way he's playing right now, he is certainly on pace to do that with 2 goals, and we still have over 5 minutes to go in the first. As Pastrnak tried to feed it over to Taylor Hall, that one was blocked. Taylor Hall keeps it in, lose the puck off of Marcus Foligno, and now Foligno will backhand it slowly but surely out of the Wild zone. JT says, Dak trash coat, Dak goat. Nah, a little bit overrated. Leafs 2003, 1967 games, 7s, 3-1 leads, 7-1 leads, 5-1 leads. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. 8 game in a row. Wow, look at Demko's game played. Yeah, I know, you guys overplay Demko, but then again, Demko is a beast. So there you go. I still think they need to get a little bit of help in the backup goaltender position, but they don't have to worry about it this year. Vancouver doesn't have to worry about it this year. It is kind of interesting to wonder if they're going to be sellers or buyers at the deadline. That'll be intriguing. I should also mention, by the way, that Patrice Bergeron is not playing tonight for the Boston Bruins. That was actually decided about an hour before the game. So we'll see if that ends up being a significant injury moving forward. He says, thanks everyone for joining. Like and subscribe. Watchalongs every day. Absolutely. BC Hockey Podcast. Does the BC stand for Boston College? It does not. It stands for British Columbia. City Life Project says all donations on the stream go right to Neil. Absolutely, guys. We do have a donation button. You don't have to, but it is appreciated. All donations go back to the host like myself. So if you want to donate a little bit of money, that would be greatly appreciated as well. Trash Bisky sucks. I don't really doubt that. British Columbia. Canucks, BCHL, WHL, and BCIHL Hockey Show. It's a great show. Definitely recommend you guys checking it out. Go subscribe to their YouTube channel as well. SodaPod says, Kirill. Andy says, let's go. I have my own hockey podcast, CP Hockey Podcast. That's very cool, JT. You guys go like and subscribe to the CP Hockey Podcast. Thanks so much for the comment, my friend. Hope you're doing well today. On this Wednesday evening, they're going with a 6-3 prediction win for the Boston Bruins. All right. So according to them, we're going to see a lot more scoring before this one's all said and done. But while you're here, my friend, leave a like on the stream as well as subscribe. Helps out the channel 100%. Club Penguin Hockey Podcast. I see what you did there, JT. That's a shot there by the Bruins, and they score. It's Craig Smith who scores for the Bruins, and with 3:01 to go in the first, the Bruins have cut the deficit in half. It's now 2-1 Minnesota. Craig Smith, a guy who is beloved in Boston, scores that one as Friedrich fed it over to Smith. Actually, the original shot by Friedrich was blocked by Dumba. It went right to the stick of Craig Smith, who was all alone on that right side. Right place, right time. He's able to score. So you get a replay here. Is actually, no, Talbot made the save, and then Craig Smith scored on the rebound. It didn't hit off Dumba, but a goal nonetheless. And the Bruins have cut the deficit to 1 as Craig Smith gets himself the goal there. Caps are so bad. Leafs are elite. Leafs are elite. Wrong and wrong, JT. BC says, nice. Daniel Dorr selected one in 1988 with the 5th pick, and he only played in 17 games in the NHL. The 7-10 picks after him, Martin Gellin, and Jeremy Roenick, Rob Brindamore, and Teemu Solani. Again, sometimes we are really bad at our evaluations of hockey players, Faggio, and this happens virtually every single draft. JT says Sherrod to Florida. Yes, we did know that. Our good friend Nick Berlansky was in the chat earlier. He did confirm, according to Elliot Friedman, that Ben Sherrod, one of the top trade bait players on that list, has actually been dealt from Montreal to the Florida Panthers. Jacob is happy that the Bruins scored. Andy, not so much. Neither is the Soda Pod. Isha, also not happy. Isha also says, God, I just can't stand the Bruins. I don't think a lot of people can. I'm kind of indifferent about them as we get an icing here against the Bruins, speak of the devil. As the ref actually went and did this. I don't know. We're actually getting somewhat of a fight here as both teams have all of their players in a bunch right now. So I'm not sure exactly what happened as Jordan Greenway and Nick Foligno have some words. So we'll see here again if they show the replay. It looks like they're actually going to go to commercial break. But I guess once they get back from commercial break, we'll find out. But a little bit over 2 minutes to go in the first period. The Bruins have just cut the deficit in half as it's currently 2-1 Minnesota over the Boston Bruins. Lauren says, my UCLA Bruins begin their tournament run tomorrow and my Angels open the preseason spring training against the Athletics this day after. So, Lauren, you got a lot of sports to watch over the next couple of days. I'm sure you are very, very excited. Jacob says, Shane Wright is going to be a bust. We'll see. We'll see. Only time will tell. He says, they caused a riot in my city. Dylan and I had to escape in 2011. Yes, one of them, because it's been more than once that the Vancouver Canucks had a literal riot after not winning the Stanley Cup. And I think that 2011 was probably crazier than 1994. And that's just my opinion on it all, because, again, I wasn't alive nor conscious in 1994. I was certainly around for 2011. And I will say I'm a Devils fan, and obviously the Devils play the Bruins, a decent amount because they're in the same conference and things like that. They've played in the playoffs before. I've never really disliked the Boston Bruins. As a matter of fact, I've actually respected how they've been able to build their teams over the years and have consistent success and be able to have, bring in guys from different teams to kind of gel together. It's pretty remarkable. So I would say that I respect them. Are they like one of my favorite teams? No, but I certainly respect them as a franchise, as one of the original six. Faji says, Carly Yarncrook heading to Calgary. So another trade that we have just gotten word about. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is trade season in the NHL as we already have Ben Sherratt going to Florida and Carly Yarncrook going to Calgary. How epic would Foligno versus Foligno fight be? I would love to see that be the case. I would love to actually see if that ends up happening. As 81 of the Bruins and John Merrill, it was Greenway and Connor Clifton, the New Jersey native, started that fight as Clifton got boarded by Greenway, and then that started a little bit of a melee, and Greenway right now is the only one in the sin bin. So the Bruins, who have just cut the deficit to 1, now are on the power play for the first time tonight with a chance to tie it. Lauren says, my Ducks play the Panthers, but our season is pretty much done. Thanks a lot, Dallas Eakins. Lauren, I can't wait for next season when Dallas Eakins is not the head coach of the Ducks, and you don't have to worry about talking about him anymore. Minute 50 to go in the first period here. Jordan Greenway gets a 2-minute minor for high sticking, so that ends up being the reason. I thought it was because of a boarding call, but no, it was sticking. It says high sticking is now an opportunity as a shot there from Marchand gets blocked. Bruins trying to keep it in. McAvoy just keeps it in. As now 88 fires it around the boards, Pasternak, and that one deflects out of play. Is that going to be delay game? No, the ref is calling for a deflection. So the faceoff will still be in the zone. John, yes, Ben Sherratt did get traded. We did confirm that earlier. Nick Berlansky with an update on the Sherratt trade. He said the return is Tyler Smilanic, a 2023 first and a 2022 fourth. Decent return for Ben Sherratt for Montreal. Yup, to Panthers. Fodger says the Canadians have traded defenseman Ben Sherratt to Florida in exchange for Tyler Smilanic and a first in 2023 and a fourth in 2022. So if you're Montreal, you got to be ecstatic getting a 2023 first because of the potential of that stacked draft class in 2023. So good on Montreal to get that 2023 first. Sodapod says, Yarncrook to Calgary is a huge move for the Flames. Oh, 100%. Now, the question is Yarncrook going to play tonight against New Jersey Devils? My guess, probably not. But if he gets to the rink in time, he's still got a little bit of time. Game doesn't start till 10 o'clock Eastern time. It's potential. Jacob with a ridiculous Mark Stone going to the Yotes for the whole Yotes team. Don't see that happening. Fadju says Carl Yarncroc to the Calgary Flames in exchange for a second Florida Panthers second in 2022, a third in 2023, and a seventh in 2024, while Seattle also retains 50%. So, yeah, they had to retain money, Seattle did, but I think they got a decent amount of picks for him, and considering the fact that, Seattle is definitely rebuilding, not even rebuilding, they're just starting from scratch, they want to get as many picks as possible. 30 seconds to go here in the first period. 34 seconds to go on the Bruins power play here. So the Wild still hold on to a 2-1 lead. Craig Smith with the most recent goal for the Bruins. He made it 2-1. As now Pasternak into the zone, tried to make a pass, got broken up. Minnesota trying to sweep it out of the zone. They just do that here. 13 seconds to go in the first. Bruins now come up to center ice. One last chance if they hurry was DeBrusk with a shot that gets deflected out of play here. So we'll get at least one more face-off before the end of the first period with 8.1 to go in the period, and the Wild still up 2-1. Lawrence says, I hope we don't trade Rickard Rakell. We should trade Dallas Eakins instead. Well, you can't really, I don't know how easy it would be to trade a head coach, especially not a good one necessarily, but Rickard Rakell is definitely going to be a guy that I think is going to get some calls. And I think if you're Anaheim, it just depends on if you feel like the offer you get is good enough for where your team is right now, then I would say do it. Otherwise, I'd try to keep him because Rickard Rakell is a very, very solid player that can score a decent amount of goals. And he's still relatively young. And because you need some young players who are also considered a little bit veteran, I think that, you could certainly do that. As we got 1 second to go here, one last chance for the Bruins goes wide, and that'll do it for the first period of play. A very exciting one. We had goals, we had hits, we had a damn fight, we had it basically all. We had ourselves a really, really good first period here of this one, and as a result, it ends with the Wild up 2-1. 2 goals for Kirill Kaprizov, 31st and 32nd of the season, and Craig Smith with the goal for the Boston Bruins. And before we continue here, we are going to step aside to get our first word of the evening from our sponsors at DraftKings Sportsbook.
All right, team, time to bet NFL games. Confidence.
I'm feeling a parlay with more legs than a spider.
So 9 legs?
Roll the dice, baby.
Indecision?
We picked one home favorite. I abstain.
You can't abstain.
Boring! 6-leg parlay, 2 home dogs, all hitting the over. Boom!
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and feel the NFL action like never before.
So again, a big shout out to our sponsors at DraftKings Sportsbook for sponsoring this live watch along and everything we do here at the Hockey Podcast Network. Make sure, guys, as always, when you sign up for DraftKings to use our promo code THPN. And guys, the NCAA men's basketball tournament is starting tomorrow, round of 64. And guys, DraftKings has got unbelievable opportunities for everybody to get huge cash prizes to bet on these games, to bet on the whole bracket itself. So right now is the perfect time to sign up for DraftKings and to use our promo code, guys. I promise you, you will not regret it 100%. So make sure you guys get on to that. But welcome here, everybody, to the first intermission report of our game between the Boston Bruins and the the Minnesota Wild. It is 2-1 Minnesota after 20 minutes of play. Kirill Kaprizov with both goals for the Wild, while Craig Smith got the lone tally for the Boston Bruins. So it has been a good game so far. You know, not a lot of shots, which is fine, but really it's been a game where we've gotten 3 goals already. So that's off to a pretty good start. We've had several, we had one fight and then we had several other altercations throughout that period. Some big hits, things like that. It's been a really, really good game so far. A really solid brand of hockey. You love to see it. It's what we call in the business all-time hockey, and you gotta love it. You absolutely gotta love it. And again, both of these teams are fighting for playoff spots right now. Currently, as this game is going on, the Boston Bruins are 3 points ahead of the Washington Capitals for the second wild card spot, and they are 16 points ahead of the Columbus Blue Jackets for the first non-wild card spot. So again, the Bruins and Capitals are kind of fighting to see who's going to be 1 and 2. I think that's pretty much going to be what we decide here. I don't think from the other teams in the Eastern Conference trying to get up and reach those two teams, I don't think we're going to get a lot of drama from that. But if you look at the Western Conference, the Minnesota Wild are currently 4 points ahead of the Vegas Golden Knights for the first wild card spot, and they are only 5 points in front of the Dallas Stars and the Vancouver Canucks for the first non-wild card spot. So, like I mentioned before, a little bit more from Minnesota's perspective, it is going to be a tight race to the finish. And for Boston, I think for them, the main focus is to try to get as high up in the standings as possible to give yourself a fair shake to maybe play, to have some home ice advantage once the playoffs begin. JT says Vegas Golden refs. I mean, we can make that argument from time to time during the last couple of years. But I will say this, that Vegas has also gotten a taste of what it's like to get screwed over in the playoffs due to the refs and due to other, crazy things. So it's kind of one of those things where you say, welcome to the Stanley Cup playoffs. I don't think that will happen long term, but you never know. Faggia says Tyler Smilanic was selected with the 74th overall pick in the 2020 NHL draft. In my opinion, he's only a decent prospect to have. He's also a defenseman. Well, look, Ben Sherratt has not had the world's greatest season. Let's put it that way. If we look at it here, as I'll actually just bring up his statistics while I'm thinking of it, if they'll let me, because sometimes they won't. We'll see here is Ben Sherratt. Ben Sherratt also is in the final season of a 3-year, $10.5 million contract. So he will obviously be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. He has scored 18.7 goals, 11 assists in 54 games. It is safe to say to Fagio and everyone else listening that Ben Sherratt has certainly had a disappointing year, but that can be the same said for literally the entire Montreal Canadiens team since the season began. But Ben Sherratt is still a very solid defenseman who does have a pretty good amount of playoff experience, certainly even last year. And it's going to be a guy that's going to help Florida be a little bit stronger on the back end and hopefully get a decent amount of points and just kind of go from there. I'm actually kind of curious to know, will he end up being paired on the other side with Aaron Ekblad? I think if you have a 1-2 punch of Ekblad and Sherratt on that top blue line, I think you got a pretty dynamic first defensive line. Spark Dog 33 Fortnite is saying, what's up? It says, Dylan. I'm actually Neil Spark Dog. My name is Neil. But Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well on this Wednesday evening. While you're here, my friend, leave a like on the stream as well as subscribe if you haven't already. Really does help out the channel tremendously. Jacob says, Bulldogs down 63-77 versus the Wright State Raiders. I'm assuming that's what, NIT? Because I'm not sure exact. I don't think that's one of the first NCAA, the Division I tournament. It's either the NIT or the national tournament. Lawrence says, I mentioned that Dallas Eakins should be fired in Isle Girl 3, Kim Moises Hockey Podcast number 91. I still will rip Eakins apart in her next podcast or live stream after we lost to the Islanders again. Yes, Lauren has made it very clear. She, number one, is obviously a very passionate Anaheim Ducks fan, and she certainly wants Dallas Eakins out as head coach. And I will definitely say, Lauren, to make you feel better, that if the Ducks continue to play this way, I think there's a good chance, especially now that you got Pat Verbeek as your new general manager. I think that eventually Pat Verbeek may want to have his own coach and kind of go from there. So maybe Eakins does get fired. The question really then becomes, who do they end up hiring? And again, only time will tell. Jacob says that's the NCAA first four. Oh, okay. I got you, my friend. Thank you for that update, Jacob. Appreciate it, buddy. Appreciate it as always, my friend. Just checking on this the time here, ladies and gentlemen. We're about 8.5 minutes away from the start of the second period of this one. Shout out to NHL app for having these times and actually having a timer for like when the periods end and when they come back to play. It actually is very, very beneficial. The only other game in the NCAA tournament that will end the first four, because the first four is to kind of settle out the 64, is Rutgers taking on Notre Dame at 9:40 p.m. Eastern. I am from New Jersey, big Rutgers guy. Looking forward to that one. Hopefully, Rutgers with Ron Harper, Geo Baker, Paul Mulcahy, a.k.a. New Jersey's point guard, Caleb McConnell, and all of those guys. Hopefully they can come away with a victory in the tournament and get themselves moving on to the round of 64, which the winner of this game, that game will play Alabama on, I believe, Friday, I want to say. So there's a little bit of basketball for that. Lauren says, it's not just me who wants Dallas Eakins gone. Other fans like Dashy does as well. No, Lauren, I'm not saying that you're the only one. I'm sure that there are a lot of Ducks fans. I would definitely recommend, Lauren, listening to the Quack Report with my good buddy Nate Thomas and Carter. They are the ones that cover the Anaheim Ducks here on the podcast, and I would highly recommend you go listen to their episodes because I'm sure that they also agree with you that Dallas Eakins needs to be fired as the Anaheim Ducks head coach. Jacob says Tanner Holden with 32 points, 10 rebounds, 1 assist. For who? Wright State? That's quite damn impressive. Indeed. Very, very impressive indeed, Jacob. Thank you for those updates. I should also mention, ladies and gentlemen, I mentioned it before because the Basketball Podcast Network was in the chat when we kind of got underway. But the Basketball Podcast Network, which is our sister network here, which covers everything NBA, just covers basketball in general, they are starting to do live watch-alongs. They've started doing some NBA, but they are also going to be doing a lot of live watch-alongs of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. And we have 2 games going on in the next 2 days, and yours truly, Neil Villapiano, will be hosting both of them. The first one is tomorrow afternoon. Marquette, the 8th seed, taking on the number 9 seed, North Carolina Tar Heels, so that should be a fun one. And then on Friday, I will be doing Texas taking on Virginia Tech. So make sure you guys go jump over to the Basketball Podcast Network, subscribe, and punch notification bell so you guys are ready to check out those live watch-alongs for basketball here in the NCAA tournament. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. It's going to be a lot of fun. My wonderful mother in the chat, as always, good to see you. Hope you're doing well, and you're obviously only in the other room watching. Assuming you're watching the Nets game. She says, greetings all. Missed the first period, but it looks like it was entertaining. There are a lot of interesting sports on tonight, so I'm switching all around. But of course, Neil is my favorite. Thank you so much for the comment. Appreciate it as always. Jacob also saying hello to my mother. I appreciate that you guys are so kind to my family when they come in and support me. Really, really do appreciate it, guys. 100%. So, yeah, it's been a good first period so far. But while we still have a little bit of time, there has been some other news that has gone around in the NHL, as we'll actually just take a look real quick here. Tomas Hertl of the San Jose Sharks has signed an 8-year contract extension with the San Jose Sharks. So that is pretty. Financial terms were not released. I believe they're saying at the moment it could be between $7.5 and $8 million per year. So that's going to be that is honestly a very, very good move for the San Jose Sharks. Tomas Hertl was the subject of a lot of trade rumors. I think the Sharks were hesitant to maybe move on from him. I'm sure the Sharks want to continue to try to compete, even though they might be in a position where they have to more or less retool and not rebuild, because a lot of their draft capital and prospects they don't really have. But Tomas Hertl said constantly that he wanted to stay in San Jose, and so the Sharks and Hertl were able to agree on an 8-year deal. So that deal will begin next season after this year, after his most recent contract will expire at the end of the year. So that's a big move. And then a man who literally just scored 2 goals last night, including the game winner against the San Jose Sharks, Frank Vatrano, was traded to the New York Rangers in exchange for a 4th-round pick in the 2022 NHL draft. So, as it says here, it will be the lower pick of the New York selection or the Winnipeg Jets selection previously acquired by the Rangers. So Frank Vatrano goes from a contending team to another contending team, also in the Eastern Conference. So the Rangers, with the first of what should probably be several moves that they end up making, but a good one nonetheless. Vatrano's in the final year of a 3-year contract he signed back in 2019. He has 19 points, 10 goals, 9 assists in 49 games. He scored at the 111 mark of overtime in Tuesday to give Florida a 3-2 win at San Jose. One of his 2 goals in the game. So obviously the Rangers are certainly going to be looking forward to having him. Don't know if he'll end up being a top 6 guy or a bottom 6 guy, but there was a move there. The Stars also said today that it's unlikely they'll end up trading John Klingberg, and they, will not be moving Braden Holtby at the deadline. I know that Braden Holtby was a guy that was potentially on the move at the deadline, but because now that Anton Hudobin is out for 6 months, basically out for the rest of the year, the Dallas Stars really, especially because they're still fighting for a playoff spot, are not going to end up moving. Braden Holtby. So Jake Ottinger and Braden Holtby will be the goaltending tandem for the Dallas Stars moving forward. So those are some of the moves that have happened, or some of the moves that did and did not happen so far here. But again, it is only Wednesday. We have the rest of today, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday until about 4 p.m. For major moves to be made. So again, guys, there is a lot that is going to happen moving forward here, going up to the trade deadline. So I hope you guys are just as excited as I am, because I am sure by the time we get to next week and we start doing live watch-alongs, we will have a lot of different moves to talk about, because that surely is the expectation moving forward. So we shall see what ends up happening with that. But if you guys have any trades or anything like that, or anything you want to discuss, let me know in the chat, and I'll share it here on the screen, and we could get into a whole discussion about it, as we're about a minute or two away from the start of the second period of our game here between Boston and Minnesota. Lauren said, I love Nate, and I listen to him and the Quack Report. That's how I became friends with Ali H. Oh, that's great. That's absolutely great, Lauren. I love that you're showing support to one of the podcasts here in the Hockey Podcast Network. Really, really appreciate it. Make sure to also give him a 5-star rating if you can. Jacob says, Neil, we want your brother. What do you want him for? What exactly do you want to see my brother for? Do you want him to give some random hot take or something? He's hanging out in the other room with my parents watching the NBA. I think they're watching the Nets, who are up by 3 at the half, I think. Jeff, are the Nets up by 3 at the half? Yeah. Okay. What's it, 61 to 58? Yeah. All right, so it's 61 to 58. Brooklyn Nets over the Dallas Mavericks at halftime. So there you go. Dylan Kaiser, who's one of the hosts of the BC Hockey Podcast, is in the chat saying, Neil, what is going on, Dylan? Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well on this Wednesday. Well, I don't know if it's necessarily evening for you, Wednesday, late afternoon, early evening, but thank you so much, man, for hanging out with us. Leave a like on the stream if you haven't already. Does help out the channel tremendously. Jacob says that because he's a cutie and he's hot takes. Oh, okay, that's just Jacob. You need to stop with the weird comments, man. You need to stop. It's getting a little. Look at this. And he's hot takes are so good and funny. I mean, I don't know if he has any hot takes today. I don't know what he's. Jeff, you got any hot takes for the lovely people over here?
For hockey?
For anything.
For anything?
You can do basketball, hockey, doesn't matter. You want to do a hockey one? Go ahead.
Rangers getting bounced in the first round of the playoffs.
So there's your hot take. It's not even really a hot take, but Jeff's saying that the New York Rangers are going to end up being bounced in the first round, which I don't feel like a lot of people would be surprised, but it also would depend on who they end up playing. Lauren says, my Ducks traded Josh Manson for Drew Hellison. Yes, they did do that as well. I do apologize for that, Lauren. Lauren, let me know how you feel about that move. It seems like a pretty quiet move, but I think it's a good one nonetheless for both sides. But let me know your thoughts on that, Lauren. But ladies and gentlemen, we are just about ready to get this second period underway here as the Rapid Center ice. Both players are. The puck is dropped, and we're underway in the second period of our game between the Boston Bruins and the Minnesota Wild. Wild's right now up 2-1. Dylan says, Canucks make the playoffs, Neil. You know, this is a very good question, Dylan. If they could play like they played, you know, especially from the offensive side like they did last night against the Devils, I think they certainly can. I think they can without a doubt ride the momentum of Thatcher Demko. I think Bruce Boudreau has a system that has really worked for this team, and I think that they definitely can surprise some people, especially with teams like Vegas and Dallas being a little bit more uncertain. I think the main question here is, Dylan, and you put it out there on the BC Hockey Podcast Twitter, is what should the Canucks do? Should they sell? Should they buy? Should they sell? Should they buy? Should they do nothing? They're kind of an interesting team. We know about Brock Besser. I think honestly, Dylan, the best thing that the Canucks can do with Brock Besser, keep him for the rest of the year and then try to do maybe a sign and trade in the offseason. Because then I think then you might get a better deal than the team trying to, make a move really quickly with only a couple of days to go before the deadline ends. So that would be the best thing. I think the best thing for the Canucks, do nothing. Don't screw up the chemistry. Don't do anything like that. I think the best thing is to stay put right now and go from there. But I do think that the Canucks have a very good chance, and they've been playing some really good hockey of late. I think they definitely have a really, really good chance of making the playoffs. I do wonder how many games left does Yaroslav Halak will play before this regular season ends. We get an offsides here. No, we're getting a holding penalty. Looks like it's going to be against, he's pointing at somebody. We'll see in a moment here who he's pointing to. Looks like it's Kirill Kaprizov that's going to the box here. So 1:15 into the second period. And with the Bruins only down by a goal, they'll get their second crack at the power play here. Another chance to tie this one up, as Kaprizov ended up holding the right arm of Brad Marchand. And Marchand kind of elbowed Kaprizov there, and I'm kind of wondering how that wasn't coincidental minors, but nonetheless, Marchand gets away with one there, and the Bruins go to the power play. And if you can believe this, guys, there has been a total of only 16 shots on goal this entire game, and we're in the second period. That shows you how physical this game has been and how tight checking it is. So Kaprizov gets a 2-minute penalty for holding here. The Bruins get their second power play of the evening. Dylan's going to go with a 4-3 prediction win for the Wild. All right, love it. Lauren says, Manson will be missed, but I wish Hellison the best. I'm not going to bash Verbeek for making this trade because he is new. Yeah, Lauren, especially when you get a new GM, you got to give them an opportunity to do what they want to do. They want to try to shape their team in their own image. You got to give Verbeek a chance to see what he can do. As Marchand with a shot and he scores! Brad Marchand! The Rat himself scores a beautiful one on the power play. And just like that, not even a minute into the power play, the Bruins have tied up this game at 2. As Marchand scores a beauty, as it started with McAvoy, came up the center of the ice, chipped it over to the right side to Charlie Coyle, gave it over to Marchand. Marchand, using the screen by Matt Dumba, wasted no time as he wristed that one under the left arm, the glove of Cam Talbot and in, and Marchand ties the game up for the Bruins. It's now 2-2. RJ with an update here. It is 2-1 Blue Jackets in the second period over the Ottawa Senators, just about 6 minutes in. Thank you for that. Jacob says, Neil, did you know that Jack Ike goal and Mark Daddy Stowe make me scream with the S? Yes, I did know that. I did know that from just watching your comments the last couple of weeks. Jacob said also, yes, the Rat. Yes, it is indeed the Rat, Brad Marchand, who scores less than 2 minutes into the second period on the power play. To tie this one up is now Matthew Boldy with a shot that goes wide, and then a turnaround try from a sharp angle by Fiala goes through the crease and out. So Fiala nearly was able to score right after that, but he couldn't cash in, as that goal by Marchand came just a minute 40 into the second period. Andy is not happy with the Bruins scoring here, as both teams have scored 2 goals on just 9 shots on goal. So again, I've mentioned this several times, ladies and gentlemen, but again, shots on goal doesn't mean a whole lot. And this is a good example because we've had 4 goals on 19 shots. So again, it's been a pretty quiet game when it comes to shots on goal, but these guys have been able to get pucks to the net and actually score. And so we've already had 4 goals, so we're not even halfway through this one. 3 of the last 4 shots on goal, by the way, have scored. So again, both goaltenders, Swayman and Talbot, not having themselves the greatest game. Jacob asks, how many hits there, Neil? How many hits? Currently, we'll see here as we can find it. Hits are currently 11-10 in favor of the Wild, Jacob. So we've had 21 hits so far in this game. So again, a kind of a physical, drag it out hockey game, kind of getting the playoff atmosphere a little bit. And obviously the only way these two teams could meet in the playoffs is in the Stanley Cup Finals, which that would be an interesting matchup, something we wouldn't expect at the beginning of the year. Maybe Boston a little bit more than Minnesota, but I think it would be fun. I said it before. I think it would just be fun in general if Minnesota got to the Stanley Cup Finals, because the XL Energy Center would be rocking for a Stanley Cup Finals game. As that shot by Boston is sticked aside by Talbot. Bruins keep it in now. Brad Marchand, 6 goals, 5 assists in his last 6 games against the Minnesota Wild. So he's had a lot of success against Soda in the last handful of games he's played against them. As Tomas Nosek gets over to Marchand, it gets broken up. Kulikov gets it over to John Merrill, and now the Wild will slow it down. Kulikov over to the right side. About 4 minutes in to second period. Brad Marchand, a minute 49 into this period on the power play, tied the game up at 2. Now the Bruins having a little bit of trouble getting it out of their own zone. Number 10 keeps it in. Now gets it over defenseman. That one gets blocked. As now the Bruins trying to whack away at it here. Bruins still having trouble as Friedrich gets it over to Charlie McAvoy over center of the ice. And now here comes Charlie Coyle. Coyle over to the right side to number 6, and he'll dump it in for Boston as both teams make a quick change. Jacob says, damn, I know it's been a physical, very physical game since this one started. And right there we go. It's another hit there. I believe that was Bukestad that made that hit. Nonetheless, another hit there. And then we get a stoppage in play. This looks like it might have been offsides here. Here's Brad Marchand standing near the trainers here, maybe getting a little bit of modifications. But that was a nice goal, as Brad Marchand is actually mic'd up for this game on TNT. And again, just one of the many cool things that TNT has when it comes to doing these games. And again, I've talked about it before, how much I knew that ESPN getting the most of the broadcasting rights for nationally televised games wasn't really going to make a difference when it came to the coverage of the NHL. But TNT, once they got the chance to get part of that package, they have really, really done a good job of coming out and, really making a good showing and a presentation that's great. It's a feed over to 81 there for Boston, gets snuffed out by Zuccarello. And now here come the Wild the other way slowly. Kaprizov slowly makes his way, gets over Zuccarello. A face-off circle with a shot. That one gets blocked. Goligotsky gets knocked down. No penalty call. Foligno now for Boston chips it out. Now here comes 81 for the Bruins. Gets the puck lifted off his stick, and Goligotsky will get it now. Goligotsky fires it off the boards. Almost fed it over to Zuccarello, but he got only a piece of it. Now Connor Clifton will get it for Boston. Intercepted now by Minnesota. They keep it in the zone. Greenway tried to feed it in front. It got broken up. Greenway again finding winning. Now Matt Grizzly gets it for Boston. Number 20 backhands it out of the zone here. Tried to feed it to Pasternak. It got broken up. Matt Dumba now to the right side. And now again, Marcus Foligno comes in from Minnesota. Foligno gets it top of the point to Matt Dumba with a shot. That one's deflected just wide by Greenway. That one definitely redirected to the left side, but not enough to go past the netminder. As now David Pasternak with the puck now. Boston tries to flip it out. Minnesota doing a good job on the forecheck here. As Eriksson Ek fighting along with it with Matt Grzelcyk. As now, can Minnesota keep it in? They cannot, and now here come the Bruins slowly the other way. They'll just chip it into the Minnesota zone. And it looks like it might have gone out of play. That was kind of interesting, but nonetheless, we get a stoppage of play here. 13:33 to go in the second period. Brad Marchand scoring on the power play a minute 49 into this period to tie the game up at 2 here between the Bruins and the Minnesota Wild. Jacob says, Brad, the ref paying rat. Love it. East is not happy, saying, God damn it. So close. Indeed, that was a nice deflection by Greenway. Just couldn't get enough of it to get it into the back of the net. But he's had a couple good chances. But we will step aside for just a moment to get another word from our sponsors at DraftKings Sportsbook. And once again, a big shout out to our sponsors at DraftKings Sportsbook for sponsoring this live watch along and everything we do here at the Hockey Podcast Network. As always, guys, make sure to use our promo code, which you can see in the bottom right corner, THPN. 13:33 to go here in the second period of our game between the Minnesota Wild and the Boston Bruins. The Bruins, a minute 49 into this second period, scored on a power play goal from Brad Marchand, and that tied this one up at 2. So, Kirill Kaprizov with both goals for Minnesota, and Craig Smith and Brad Marchand are the goal scorers for the Bruins. So it has been a pretty much even game. You know, it's been very physical. We had a fight back in the first period, and we've had ourselves a couple of goals, and just 21 shots in total here from both teams, with the shots currently being 11-10 in favor of the Bruins. And me speaking as a diehard hockey fan, I just love the fact that this really just feels like an authentic hockey game. Maybe a little bit more scoring than what you'd expect, but still, you really feel like a playoff atmosphere in this game. It being on national TV, the crowd, it's a packed crowd in Minnesota. It's awesome. As a shot there from DeBrusque is shouldered aside by Talbot. Bruins wrapping it around the boards. Charlie McAvoy tried to get there first, but a good job by Fiala to poke it out of the zone. Which team record will record the next goal? Boston with a -110, while Minnesota has a +100. Those are the up-to-date odds for DraftKings. It's a backhand try by Fiala is blocked by Swayman, and then the Bruins fired all the way back down into the Wild zone for an icing. Kevin Fiala, the Swiss Army sniper, with an opportunity there that he could not cash in. Good opportunity, though, nonetheless. Some upcoming schedule for nationally televised games. ESPN Plus has the Sharks-Kings game tomorrow at 10. Capitals, Hurricanes Friday on NHL Network, and a couple others that I didn't see. I know the Rangers and Lightning are on ABC on Saturday. So those are some of the what we call the major games, the nationally televised games over the next couple of days, as Zuccarello with a sharp angle try that gets blocked. Jacob says Wright State won their game 93-82. So Wright State is moving on to the round of 64 in the NCAA men's basketball, Division I men's basketball tournament. So congratulations to Wright State. Lauren says, I think my UCLA Bruins will beat Akron tomorrow. I would expect them, Lauren, too, but, these one games, in these tournaments, upsets always happen, so you got to be careful. We'll see. Lauren says, though, that she feels that UCLA will win, so can UCLA make another long run into the tournament? Starts with their first game against Akron. RJ says MLB baseball is back. I believe the first spring training games are either tomorrow or Friday. And it says here, I'm going to say that RJ is saying that the Yankees are going to win 92 games. I don't know about that. I think they're more likely to win something between 87, 88. I just don't really trust their hitting that much. Their pitching is fine. Their hitting is going to be a question mark. As it looks like we're getting a penalty here, it's going to be a slash against, I believe, the Bruins. It's going to be Craig Smith, who scored one of the 2 goals for the Bruins. He goes to the box with 11:42 to go in the second period. So now the Wild, who were up 2-0 and have coughed it up, now have a chance here to get their second power play goal of the game and to regain the lead here. As the game is tied at 2. Zuccarello was the one that drew the penalty. I should also mention that Brad Marchand was the one that drew the penalty against Kaprizov and then eventually scored. So it's kind of interesting. So we'll see if Zuccarello can do the same thing on this power play. Face-off won by Boston, and immediately 25 will get it out and throw it back down into the Minnesota zone. Talbot will just touch it a little bit so Brodin can go and get it for Minnesota. As now Brodin gets it over to the left side. Here comes Fiala with speed. Fiala drops it off to Dumba. Dumba over to the right side of Fiala. He lets it go. Gets it over to Boldy. Back to Fiala for a second, but it's intercepted by Boston, and they'll backhand it back down into the Minnesota zone. RJ says, MLB Baseball 92-game COVID season 2022. It's 92 games? I don't think it's 92. Am I wrong? I got to double check on that. I thought it was going to be the full 162. I thought it was going to be one full 62. So I'll get a chance later on to double check that. So we'll see. As now Fiala up the center of the ice here. Minute 10 to go on the power play for the Wild. That one's broken up, and now here comes Brad Marchand. Maybe a 2-on-1. Feeds it over to his teammate with a shot, and that one is stopped and covered by Talbot. It was Eric Haula who got that nice feed from Marchand, and Haula was almost able to score a shorthanded goal, but he shot it right into the chest of Talbot, and Talbot was able to make the save. Good save there from Talbot to deny the Bruins of a chance to score a shorthanded goal there. Good feed from Marchand. Marchand was looking for his second point of the night. 10:43 to go in the second period. 1:02 remaining on the Minnesota power play here with the game tied at 2 goals apiece. As now 47 gets it for, I believe that's Goligoski with it. Goligoski gets it over to the left side to Zuccarello. Zuccarello gets it over to Kaprizov. Kaprizov back over to Zuccarello on the left side. Zuccarello holds, tries to backhand it to Goligoski. Was broken up by Foligno, and now again the Wild will have to go back to center ice to set it up. Hartman on the left side over to Zuccarello. Zuccarello comes in left face-off circle. Zuccarello tried to wrap it around the boards. It got blocked, intercepted by Boston, and then they almost were able to chip it out, and then that pass is broken up. Potential breakaway here. It is a breakaway for the Bruins. He takes a shot, and that would ring off the post. Oh my goodness, number 81 of the Bruins. He beat Talbot, but he rang it off the right post, and that one almost was a shorthanded goal, and now looks like the fans are standing up here. Are we getting a fight? No. It looks like McAvoy and somebody on the Wild almost dropped the gloves there, but nonetheless, a great chance again for the Bruins, even better than the first one, but they couldn't score. Now Zuccarello with a shot. That would have stopped by Swayman, and nearly a follow-up try there was broken up. Kaprizov tried to feed it over to John Merrill, but it gets blocked and out of play, and that will do it for the Wild power play. So they did not score. The Bruins had not one but 2 great chances as Bleed with the last one, number 81 of Boston, rang it off the top post but could not score. But with a little bit over 9 minutes to go here in the second period, it is still 2-2 here between the Bruins and the Minnesota Wild. Jacob says, ding! Yes, it was. Heavy metal is alive and well in the National Hockey League. That was a gorgeous opportunity there for the Boston Bruins, but they could not cash in. And while we have a break in the action here, we're going to step aside for just another moment to get another commercial break. So again, a big shout out to our sponsors at DraftKings Sportsbook for sponsoring this live watch along and everything we do here at the Hockey Podcast Network. As always, guys, make sure to use our promo code, which you can see in the bottom right corner, THPN. So a little over 9 minutes remaining here in the second period. We've only had one goal so far in this period, and that was a minute 49 in on a power play goal by Marchand. And just before the last commercial break, Matt Zuccarello and Charlie McAvoy were pushing and shoving, swinging sticks at one another. So we nearly had another fight, but cooler heads prevailed. But the Wild just didn't score on their most recent power play. The Bruins had not one, but two great chances shorthanded to score. Couldn't cash in. And right now, it's still 2-2 here with 9:20 to go in the second period. Lawrence says Seahawks signed Artie Burns, a.k.a. Artie Burnt Toast. As a Steelers fan, Burns was one of our worst cornerbacks, right up there with Antoine Blake, Cortez Allen, Steven Nelson, and James Pierre Jr. So I guess from, just going off of what Lauren is saying, sounds like the Seahawks got a little bit worse in the secondary. So the Legion, and we are definitely far away from the once Legion of Boom in Seattle. And obviously now it's a new era with Russell Wilson being dealt to the Denver Broncos. So be interesting to see if Mr. Drew Lock ends up being the starter, or if they go out, or if the Seahawks go out and try to get someone else or draft the quarterback. Who knows? But should be interesting. Lauren, I'm assuming that you would expect your Steelers to probably draft Kenny Pickett in the first round. I would just assume that. Columbus now with a 3-1 lead over the Ottawa Senators in the second period. 5:01 to go in the second period. So thank you for that update, RJ. As that shot off the faceoff by Minnesota just goes wide of the net. Jeremy Swayman continuing to be strong in net. Jeremy Swayman, 100% is the franchise goaltender moving forward. He is the man that takes over for the legend. Well, I don't know if you say legendary, but definitely one of the best goaltenders in Bruins history, Tuukka Rask. It is very unfortunate that Tuukka Rask, he had to ultimately retire after just a couple of games this season due to just struggling to stay healthy. It's very unfortunate. A guy who, he did win a Stanley Cup, albeit as a backup, but he took the Bruins to 2 Stanley Cups after that. A guy who was very, very good for a long period of time. One of the better goaltenders of the past generation, and end of an era in Boston. But as you can see, they're still rocking and rolling, even with Jeremy Swayman playing. And I remember Jeremy Swayman. I remember that there was an article written about him right after Tuukka Rask was brought up from Providence, and Swayman ended up getting sent back down. He was very frustrated, but he understood the situation. Is now an opportunity for Fiala, and he rang it off the post. Fiala rang it off the post, and it went high up into the air, and then was cleared. And then a follow-up try there by Dumba is stopped and gloved by Swayman. So another great chance there for the Wild as they won the faceoff, gave it over to Fiala, and he just rang it off the post. So the hockey gods are now even now with both of these teams. Excuse me, that shot was actually saved by the right shoulder of Swayman, so I apologize. But still a good chance nonetheless for the Wild. Jeremy Swayman, 9-0-1 in his last 10 games, 1.57 goals against average, and 4 shutouts. Jeremy Swayman, arguably the hottest goaltender in the National Hockey League over the last couple of weeks. Really impressive. Really impressive. 8 minutes to go here in the second period. Still 2-2 here between the Bruins and Wild. Lauren says, Artie Burns kept getting burnt like crazy. Other than 2016 rookie season, he was a bust. There's another wasted draft pick by Kevin Colbert and Mike Tomlin. Well, hopefully they can rectify that, this offseason. What's going on, Andrew? Good to see you as always, buddy. Hope you're doing well on this Wednesday evening. As always, my friend, leave a like on the stream. If you haven't already, it does help out the channel. He says, hi, Neil. How are you doing today? How's the game so far? Well, I'm doing very well. The game so far has been really exciting, back and forth. Andrew, you could actually watch this on TNT, on national TV. You can watch along with us. It's been an exciting game so far. And you kind of get the sense as this game has been going along that maybe whoever gets the next goal might end up winning this game. It's potential. Jacob says, ding again. Sodapod says, what the hell? WTF is with all the posts? I don't know, but I think Minnesota and Boston are definitely fans of heavy metal as their choice of music. I just texted earlier tonight. Yes, I did see that when I had a chance to look at my phone, but you are here. Lauren says, that's all I have to say in this live stream. It was fun tuning in, although it wasn't a Ducks live stream. Take care, Neil. No worries, Lauren. Thank you as always, my friend, for hanging out with us. Leave a like on the stream before you go. But I hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday evening, and we will see you again soon. It's just crazy he is. Jacob is all right. That is always good. Jacob's just chilling, having a good time. Jacob, aren't you camping? I could have sworn you said you weren't going to be able to be on any of these live watch-alongs because you said you were camping. Did you end up not going? Let me know. As they're showing some interesting attire from David Pasternak. He's wearing an all-black suit. Looks good. So is Brad Marchand. That's a good style. He also just winked at me at the camera. That was pretty creepy. So I don't know how to feel about that. As Keith Jones is laughing about it. I don't know why you're laughing about it. It's kind of creepy. Brad Marchand, interesting human being, interesting player. Just great player. I don't think we can deny how great of a player Brad Marchand is. He's just a very interesting human being. But I think for hockey, we need characters like that. So I guess you can't argue it. Jacob says, I'm home. Was home last night. All right, fair enough. But I thought you were going camping. Did you already go camping? Like, was it just over the weekend? Because I think the last live watch along I did was back on Sunday. Yeah, the last one was on Sunday. So I thought you said you were going to be doing you were going to be going camping.
There we go. All right, let's go. Come on.
Sodapod says interesting equals rad. No, that's true. No, you got me, Sodapod. You guys got me. You guys got me. You know, again, Marchand doesn't piss me off as much as other people, but I think last year he really pissed me off, and that was more or less because the Devils played the Bruins so damn much because of the COVID season and all that stuff. But once I saw him lick somebody in the playoffs a couple of years ago, that was when I was like, okay, he's weird. Very weird. But it's all by design. At the end of the day, we all know it's by design. We know that he does this stuff for effect to get in people's heads, and it works. It works. It's Charlie McAvoy with a slapper, and that one is into the chest of Talbot, and he'll hold it. 6:29 to go in the second period. Still 2-2 here between the Bruins and Wild. Shots are currently at 13 apiece. So again, very, very low shots on goals for both teams. Andrew said, I just did the like. Thank you as always, Andrew, for your support, boss man. We appreciate you. By the way, guys, this is the first of two nationally televised games here on TNT. After this game, I just drew a blank. I really just drew a blank. Hold on a second, guys. I'm really drawing a blank here because I really should be able to tell you off the top of my head because I'm usually good at this. But the game after this is the Tampa Bay Lightning against the Seattle Kraken. Tampa's first chance to go to Seattle, so that'll be interesting. But that's the game that we have right now. We got 6:10 to go in the second period. Bruins trying to get it out of their own zone. Connor Clifton. Interesting fact about Connor Clifton, guys. Connor Clifton's not only from Jersey, he grew up about a town away from me. As a big-time hit by Charlie Coyle on Gaudreau as he just lowered the elbow and knocked him to the ground. Big-time hit there. Woo! Again, the physicality has been big in this one. Andrew says, that's your brother I just heard. Yes, indeed. They are talking very, very loud, watching, they're probably watching the Nets, and they're also going to be watching Rutgers as well. So I do apologize for the outside noise, but out of my control is now the Bruins coming the other way. 20 with a shot, and that one gets blocked by John Merrill. And now Matthew Boldy fires it off the boards to Fiala, and now to Gaudreau. That's Frederick Gaudreau, not Johnny Gaudreau. Frederick Gaudreau is on the Minnesota Wild. As now Dunn dumps it in. Gets over to Goligoski. He falls down. No penalty, but he's behind the boards looking to try to get the puck out. Gaudreau trying to help him out there. Nick Foligno helping for Boston. And now the Bruins are able to keep it in just for a moment. And it's blocked off. Fiala tries to get it for Minnesota, but it forces the Bruins to just dump it back into the zone. Jacob said camping was fun. All right. So you did go camping. That's awesome, man. I'm glad you had a fun time, my friend. Glad you had a fun time, as always. As now here come the Wild back into the offensive zone here. They stay on sides. 0 days rest. 8th back-to-back game this season. 3rd fewest in the NHL. The Bruins are 4-3 with a .571 win percentage in back-to-back games. So they've been pretty, I don't want to say mediocre. They've been pretty average when it comes to back-to-back games. Again, the Bruins had a thrilling overtime win against the Blackhawks in Chicago last night, 2-1. And so they're looking to try to win both of these games. The sharp angle try there by McAvoy. Stop. Scramble in front of the crease. But Talbot is able to reach back with his glove and hold it. And then both teams having a meeting of the minds right in front of the net. Some pushing and shoving. McAvoy and Zuccarello again with some choice words for one another. But we are going to step aside for just a moment here to get another quick word from our sponsors. So once again, a big shout out to our sponsors at DraftKings Sportsbook for sponsoring this live watch along and everything we do here, the Hockey Podcast Network. Make sure, as always, guys, to use our promo code when you sign up for DraftKings, THPN. So a little bit more than 4 minutes to go here in the second period of our game between the Boston Bruins and the Minnesota Wild. The Wild added 2 goals in the first, both by Kirill Kaprizov. Craig Smith got one back in the first period to make it 2-1. And then Brad Marchand, a minute 41 into the second period on the power play, tied the game up at 2. And that is where we currently are right now. As, again, it's been a massively physical game. Rookie point leader since January 6th, Michael Bunting with 28. Matt Boldy, guy in the Wild, 24, has the second most. Anton Lundell, third with 21. And Cole Caulfield and Moritz Seider, each with 20. Matthew Boldy made his debut back on January 6th. So Matthew Boldy has been one of the best rookies since January 6th when he made his debut. And, I know that obviously, the Superpod may joke about this, but I think I definitely, and I said it before, I think Matthew Boldy, if he can kind of keep this up, I think he really does have a legitimate shot of maybe passing Michael Bunting. And, look, it's hard because Bunting also plays for the Leafs and plays on the top line with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. So, that's kind of a thing. And Matt Boldy, he's playing with some talent as well, but maybe not at the same level. That's no disrespect to, what's it called? To the guys on the Wild. I'm just being honest. Jacob says, I watched the Duke boys. Oh, you watched Duke lose to Virginia Tech in the ACC tournament. That must have been fun for you. Andrew said, for dinner, I had a turkey club with fries and beer at the Nest in Florida. It's really good. That's awesome. That is awesome. There's a shot there from Taylor Hall. It's stopped and gloved by Talbot. Face off in the Minnesota zone with 3:35 to go in the second period. What's going on, Ethan? Thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us again. We do appreciate it. Ethan, while you're here, my friend, leave a like on the stream as well as subscribe if you haven't already. It helps out the channel tremendously. Ever going to do a Jackets game? I actually did do a Jackets game back when they played Seattle a couple of months ago, but considering that I still have a couple of teams I still have to do a game for, Ethan, I'm going to see if I can try, just for you, I'm going to see if I can try to find one in which the Jackets are playing one of those teams. If they're playing Carolina anytime soon, because I haven't done a Carolina game, I will do that for you, buddy. So I'll try to do another Jackets game before the season ends up. I promise that to you, buddy. Andrew says, tonight we played bocce and we won 2 games for the first time. Other times we lost till tonight. Very good for you, Andrew. That's awesome, man. Bocce is a lot of fun. I've played it a couple times. The tournaments I've played in, people take it way more seriously than they should, but it's still a fun sport nonetheless. Jacob said no, talking, I guess, to Ethan, but ignore Jacob. I watched the Duke boys, the Dukes of Hazzard. Oh, gotcha. Dukes of Hazzard is good, man. Dukes of Hazzard is good. I think my brother watched it. Jeff, you watched Dukes of Hazzard, right? Yeah, the Duke boys. Didn't you watch it?
Maybe.
Probably did. Probably. Andrew says, let's do a Nashville game. That's actually one of the 5 teams I still have yet to do a live watch-along for. So, yeah, I do want to do a Nashville Predators game soon. So I'll look for the schedule to try to set that up. I have all 10 seasons. Very impressive. Very impressive, Jacob. I'm sure you love it 100%. 2:20 to go here in the second period. Game still tied at 2 here between the Wild and Bruins. Shots are currently 17-14 in favor of Boston. So you've had at least one goal in each period so far. We'll see if either team gets a late goal here. There's a feed in front there to Kaprizov. Just is out of reach. And now here comes Foligno for Boston. Nick Foligno backhands it into the zone. It's exactly 2 minutes to go here in the second period. 81 keeps it in for Boston. He makes a nice move. Deeks Zuccarello out of his skates and then takes a shot that gets blocked to the side. And now here comes Minnesota again. They backhanded in. Here comes Fiala trying to use the power move, but a good job there by 28 of Boston to intercept that puck. Craig Smith backhands it over, and now here comes Charlie Coyle. Coyle with a little bit of speed gets over to Friedrich. Friedrich drop pass over to Charlie Coyle again. Coyle gives it back to Friedrich. Friedrich gets it top of the point to his defenseman. Try to get it over to Coyle again. He gets there, gets knocked down, no penalty. Friedrich now with it for Boston. Friedrich back to Charlie Coyle behind the net. Intercepted now by Matt Boldy, and now Gaudreau will take it the other way for Minnesota. Boldy dumps it in, has some speed, waits, tries to feed it in front to Fiala. That one is blocked. Follow-up try by Gaudreau is also blocked with 1 minute to go here in the second period. Let's see if either team can get themselves a late goal here. Connor Clifton gets it around the boards and now gets it over to Jared Spurgeon, the captain. Spurgeon gets it to center ice. Now to Jordan Greenway. Greenway with his wrist shot that just goes completely wide of the net. 40 seconds to go in the second period. Boston now will fire off the boards. Tries to get it out. They do. And then Boston will dump it fully by Taylor Hall into the Minnesota zone. No icing here. 28 seconds to go in the second. Marcus Foligno just fires it out of the zone here. And now the Bruins get it. And they will try to fire it back into the Minnesota zone, but it gets deflected into the Boston bench. So we'll get a face-off here. 22.7 to go in the second period here. Still 2-2 between the Bruins and Wild. Jacob says, let's do a Yotes Devils game. If I have time when the Devils travel to Arizona, I may do that. Andrew says, last time we got the game, but it was delayed by you guys back then in last year. I have no idea what you're referring to, Andrew. I have no idea what you're referring to. You got to give me more context than that. They're showing a replay here before Zuccarello fed it over to Kaprizov earlier on that 1-T from the sharp angle, but it hit the side of the net, not in the net. So the Bruins have it with 11 seconds to go here. Intercepted by Greenway of Minnesota. Greenway trying to keep it in. Still fighting for the puck. Minnesota gets it. Gets over to Greenway. 3 seconds. He takes a shot. That one is stopped by Swayman. And he'll cover it here as both teams will have a meeting of the minds again. Pushing and shoving after the whistle with 1.1 to go. Dumba and someone on the Bruins pushing and shoving. And then Dumba and Tomas Nosek kind of hugging it out a little bit. Let's see here. Andrew says last game, Nashville game. You talking about the outdoor game that we did a couple weeks ago? Jacob says April 12th at 10 p.m. Thank you for that, Jacob. I appreciate it. Andy says, okay, everyone, I'm out bedtime. No worries, Andy. Good to see you, buddy, as always. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We do appreciate it. Leave a like on the stream before you go. As you already know, it helps out the channel. But have a good night, Andy. We'll see you again very, very soon. As Dumba actually ripped the back collar of Brad Marchand. That was who it was. And Dumba with a smile on his face after that. As you knew that Marchand was going to get something there. As we'll see again on the replay. Oh, yeah. Marchand tried to lay out Greenway, but Greenway ended up knocking him down to the ground. And then Dumba came from all the way on the other side of the ice, grabbed the collar of Marchand and just kind of threw him down. The faceoff won there by Boston, and that will do it for the second period of play here of this one. And again, some pushing and shoving after the whistle as it's Friedrich and Dumba with some choice words. But nonetheless, that's going to do it for the second period. Brad Marchand, a minute 49 into the period, scores the only goal of that period. And after 2 periods of play, it is tied at 2 goals apiece. So it has been a physical, fun game here between 2 playoff caliber teams, and it'll be exciting to see what they can bring going into the third period. But before we continue here, we are going to get another commercial break here and get another word from our sponsors.
All right, team, time to bet NFL games. Confidence.
I'm feeling a parlay with more legs than a spider.
So 9 legs?
Roll the dice, baby.
Indecision?
We pick one home favorite. I abstain.
You can't abstain.
Boring! 6-leg parlay, 2 home dogs, all hitting the over. Boom!
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and feel the NFL action like never before.
So as always, a big shout out to our sponsors at DraftKings Sportsbook for sponsoring this live watch along and everything we do here at the Hockey Podcast Network. As always, guys, make sure to use our promo code when you sign up for DraftKings, THPN. So welcome to the second intermission report of our game between the Boston Bruins and the Minnesota Wild. It is all tied up at 2 goals apiece. Brad Marchand, the Rat, with the only goal of the second period. He scored a minute 49 into the period to make it 2-2. And that's where we are after 40 minutes of play. So this really is going to be an exciting third period of action. It's been very physical. We just saw at the end of the period a couple of moments after the whistle where guys were, on top of each other, pushing and shoving, throwing some haymakers. It's been a good one. It's been a really good one. It's been a lot of fun to be doing this game, and I'm excited as always to be hanging out with you guys, covering these games. Jacob says, Neil, in NHL 22, be a pro. I have 35 points in 18 games with 25 goals. Very nice, Jacob. Very nice. That's awesome, man. I'm sure you're having, a great time doing that. Andrew says, the Nashville game is on at December 4th, 2021 versus Montreal. I don't think I did that one, and I do not remember that one, but if we did have a delay for that, I do apologize, which, again, it's kind of out of my control. RJ says, the Columbus Blue Jackets are beating the Senators 3-1 after 2 periods of play. That third period should be getting underway in about 3 or 4 minutes. SodaPod says, Jacob is playing on easy. Yeah, I probably could agree with that. Jacob says, I'm on Buff, and we are the 5th seed. You're on Buffalo, and you are the 5th seed. Very, very impressed. Jacob says, semi-pro. All right, so it's the middle between easy and pro. He's on semi-pro. All right. I usually play on, All-Star. I try to get this whenever I used to play, I was always more concerned about making the settings as realistic to like the NHL as possible. And it's not always easy, but especially nowadays, there's a lot of people out there like on Reddit and things like that are able to that are able to really give you like good sliders that can make it really realistic, or at least pretty close. So that's kind of something that I try to do when I can. Andrew says Josh knows anyway. No, it's fair. I'm sure Josh knows exactly what you're talking about. I don't think I was there for that, so I do apologize. Andrew says, Sodapod, how are you? That's Sodapod, how he's doing. Jacob says he's been semi-pro since NHL 17. Well, you got to amp up the difficulty a little bit. If you've been playing for this long, don't you think you need to amp it up just a little bit? That's just my I'm just assuming that. But yeah, we got like 12 minutes before the third period starts. So, before the third period starts, guys, let me know in the chat what you guys think. What do you think of this game so far? What do you think, everything like that? Let me know. I'd really like to discuss that with you. RJ says it is 93-79. Brooklyn Nets. I actually flipped over to that game while we're at intermission report just because I have time. It is currently 93-84 Brooklyn Nets over the Dallas Mavericks. 10:25 to go in the fourth quarter. Andrew says, how are you doing today? Well, like I said before, Andrew, doing really, really well. It's been a very long day for me, very busy day of just, doing as much work as I can and staying busy. And, it's always good for me to kind of end the day doing something like this. And as always, I enjoy hanging out with you guys. Andrew says, where's your wine tonight? Well, to tell you the very honest truth is that, usually the days that I don't have wine is usually when I'm really, really tired from just a long day. And, I really shouldn't be having wine at this time of the night because it'll really, really drain me and make me a lot tired. And I got to stay a little bit more focused. But as I've said before, do not fret, guys. I will be having more games where I will be having a glass of wine. I've done it before. You guys have seen it. So do not worry. Jacob says, for NHL 19, I played on pro and scored 28 goals. So why'd you go back to semi-pro then? Why did you go back to semi-pro? What's going on, Danelle? Good to see you, buddy. As always, hope you're doing well today on this Wednesday evening. He says, what up, Neil? Didn't know you'd be doing this live stream tonight. How's things, man? Things are going well. Things are going very well. We have a really good game so far through 40 minutes, and we're looking forward to watching this third period with the expectation that it's going to be a very, very good third period of action. Any plans for St. Patty's tomorrow? The only plans that I think I have, the only plans I know for sure I'm having is at 4:30, where I'm doing a live watch along over on the Basketball Podcast Network of the Marquette versus North Carolina Division I men's basketball tournament game, round of 64. So make sure you guys go over to that and check me out when I do that. Now says, hey Neil, did you like of Kyrie scoring 60 piece on the Magic from last night? Of course I did, Danelle. I enjoyed every single second of it. Obviously, would love for the man to get freaking vaccinated so that he could play every game and play that well, but unfortunately he refuses to, and that's just the world that we live in, which really sucks. But he had a masterful game last night, played very, very well, dropped 60, most points scored in a single game by a Brooklyn/New Jersey/New York Net in franchise history. Very, very impressive for a tremendously talented player. And the Nets ended up scoring 150 points, which was a lot of fun. That game was really never in doubt. This one that the Nets are in right now, little bit, I would say it's about 50-50 right now. Jacob says, not gonna lie, I don't know. Well, you gotta up the difficulty, man. Up the difficulty. RJ says, Portland Trailblazers are getting blown out in the fourth quarter by the New York Knicks, 107-84. So fair enough. Andrew is asking Jacob if he's drinking Red Bull tonight. Jacob says no, even though it might be what's it called? It might be a little bit. It is certainly late to be drinking anything like that right now. What's going on, Tedrick? Thank you so much for the comment, man. We appreciate it. Tedrick, while you're here, my friend, leave a like on the stream as well as subscribe. It does help out the channel tremendously. And if you do subscribe, let me know in the chat that you do, so I can shout you out here on the stream. He says, how is this legal? There's nothing illegal about what we're doing. I understand that, I've said this before because we've had people, as a lot of you guys know, we have people that jump in here all the time that say like, oh, can you show the game? Can you show the game? As I always say, I would love to. I would absolutely love to. But because that part would be illegal because of copyright issues and things like that, YouTube would immediately shut us down and would demonetize us, and that wouldn't be any good. So what we do is when the game's going on, I'm watching it here. I got the flash score right here, which is totally legal to show. There's nothing illegal about it. And, I always tell you guys, NHL 66, Stream East, ESPN Plus, or like tonight, if the game's on national TV, you can watch the game along with us. So that's really those are really the best ways that, we show this, and that's how we're able to do these live watch-alongs and hang out with you guys. The main thing is that we enjoy interacting with all of you wonderful hockey fans on a day-to-day basis, which is the best part. Jacob says, it's easier to get my overall up. Yeah, but wouldn't you feel like more empowered if you like grinded, like really, really grinded? It's pronounced Tedrick. Oh, I apologize, Tedrick. My apologies, my friend. So it's Tedrick. He says, okay, I thought you had the game up. Yeah, no, I'm not allowed legally to have the game up. Otherwise, we get shut down and you don't even see this. So when you're asking how is this legal, it would be, I would more likely be showing this if I was like on like some sort of like, pirated website or something like that. But I'm not. I'm just showing this. Tedrick saying, doesn't the TNT announcing crew suck? I don't think it does. I mean, I've always been a big fan of Kenny Albert. I've actually worked with Kenny Albert a couple of times. He's a really, really good dude. So, no, I don't think it sucks. I think in many ways it's better than the ESPN broadcasting teams that they have, but that's only my opinion. But Tedrick, again, my friend, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, make sure to leave a like on the stream as well as subscribe, as I mentioned before. And if you do subscribe, let me know in the chat that you do so I could shout you out here on the stream. Isha shouting out Tedrick. Watchalongs every day of the week. Absolutely. Covering every single team in the NHL. Andrew says, luckily no one is bothering me. Thank goodness. Hey, that's good, man. That's good. Tedrick, live stats will come up during the game. Yeah, so like the way we do it here, Tedrick, to kind of give you an idea, so we have the statistics up here while the game's going on, like right here. Actually show you here on this. I'll actually show you this is better. So like here, then you got the statistics like right here, and that's how I do it. And I try to do the best job that I can to give you guys like play-by-play as the game's going on, while also interacting with you guys. It is a tough job, but I certainly enjoy doing it 100%. So we got JJD TV in the chat again. Good to see you, my man. Hope you're doing well this Wednesday evening. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Leave a like on the stream while you're here. Helps out the channel tremendously. Says Neil is better than TNT, though. I appreciate the compliment. I do the best that I possibly can. Tedrick saying, Wild getting Fleury or Fleury to the Leafs? For a long time, as Isha and the Soda Pod will tell you, I have been saying Fleury to the Minnesota Wild because I think that they do need goaltending help. But I think with Jack Campbell going on IR and some question marks about Peter Mrazek, I think Fleury to the Leafs makes a little bit more sense right now. I think it does. So I'm leaning more towards Fleury going to the Leafs. But as far as do I think it'll actually happen, no. I think at the end of the day, Marc-Andre Fleury will end up staying in Chicago for the rest of the season. He doesn't sound like he wants to uproot his family again. I think he's going to end up just staying in Chicago and playing out the rest of the season and going from there. But I think if I were to say what team would he get traded to, that would kind of be the way that I would go to. Andrew says, I agree. Awesome. RJ says, MLB New York Yankees opening day spring training this Friday, March 18th against the Pittsburgh Pirates. That'll be at George Steinbrenner Field. Very cool. Thank you, RJ. Danelle says, Neil, the Devils get a tough game against the Flames tonight. Bad loss for them against the Canucks and couldn't score in a 4-minute power play. Yeah, that was kind of the difference in the game, unfortunately, where basically the Devils had a chance to tie the game up on a 4-minute power play. They ended up giving up a shorthanded goal and ultimately lost 6-3. That was the difference in the entire game. Hopefully they don't have a situation like that tonight. Hopefully they could get themselves a bounce-back victory against a very talented and red-hot Calgary Flames team. Tedrick says, what do Leafs need to give up for Fleury? As far as I know, I think they have to give up at least a first-round pick. I think another pick and maybe a prospect. So it's not the most ridiculous asking price. So I think that there is definitely an opportunity there for a team like the Leafs to do that. So we'll see. We'll see. When is Ben Brick playing for the Nets? To be determined. I have literally no idea, Jacob, to be quite honest with you. We got a good one now. We certainly do. We certainly do. But before we get to the third period here, we are going to take another quick commercial break to get another word from our sponsors.
All right, team, time to bet NFL games. Confidence.
I'm feeling a parlay with more legs than a spider.
So 9 legs?
Roll the dice, baby.
Indecision?
We pick one home favorite. I abstain.
You can't abstain.
Boring. 6-leg parlay, 2 home dogs, all hitting the over. Boom!
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and feel the NFL action like never before.
So as always, a big shout out to our sponsors at DraftKings Sportsbook for sponsoring this live watch along and everything we do here at the Hockey Podcast Network. As always, guys, make sure when you sign up for DraftKings to use our promo code THPN. So we are just about ready to begin the third period of our game between the Boston Bruins and the Minnesota Wild. It is all tied up at 2 goals apiece. So let me know in the chat, guys, what you think is going to happen, who's going to end up winning this game, final score, game winner, anything like that, all your hot takes, let me know in the chat, and we'll share it here on the screen. I still ended up I said 3-2 Minnesota in regulation, so I'm still in a pretty good spot. I'm still in a pretty good spot to potentially be right about my prediction, but we shall see as the puck is dropped and we are underway here in the third period in our game between the Bruins and the Wild. So this is going to be a fun third period. Let's see here. What's going on, Ray Neal? Back in the chat. Love that you changed the profile picture to the Devils logo, my friend. Again, Ray Neal, while you're here, leave a like on the stream if you haven't already. It helps out the channel tremendously. Rainiel says, are you going to watch the Devils game? I will most likely after this one is over. They start in about roughly 20 minutes or so. I will probably turn that one on once this live watch along is over. So yes, I would say yes to that question, Rainiel. Andrew's going to say 5-3. So he's saying, we've had 4 goals through 2 periods. He's saying that we're going to get another 4 goals in this third period. So if Andrew is right, we're going to be in for a very high scoring and very exciting third period indeed. As we got about a minute, we're about a minute into the third period here. Rainier says, are you going to do another live stream? Yes, I'll be doing another hockey one on, I believe, Saturday. Let me double check my schedule. My schedule is important. yes, I will be doing a live watch along on Saturday afternoon. The Dallas Stars are on the island taking on the New York Islanders. That stream will start at 2 p.m. Eastern right here on the Hockey Podcast Network. But in the interim, I'll be doing back-to-back live watch-alongs of NCAA men's college basketball tournament games. First one will be tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. between Marquette and North Carolina. And then on Friday, I will be once again on the Basketball Podcast Network doing a live watch-along of the Texas versus Virginia Tech game. So make sure you guys head over to the Basketball Podcast Network, subscribe, and punch notification bell so you don't miss any new live watch-alongs that we do over there as well. Raynil says, are you not going to do it? That was live stream. No, I am going to do the next hockey one that I'm doing, Raynil, is, again, like I said, between the Dallas Stars and the New York Islanders on Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock. But then I also just mentioned I'm doing back-to-back basketball live watch-alongs tomorrow and Friday. So I will be live here on YouTube, both on the Hockey Podcast Network and the Basketball Podcast Network for the next couple of days. So I'll be very, very active indeed. So we're about 2 minutes here into the third period here. Again, game tied at 2 between the Bruins and the Wild. There's Marchand with a shot that gets blocked by Tomas Nosek. And now the Wild look to try to come the other way. Gaudreau gets over to Kevin Fiala. Fiala comes in, drops off to Gaudreau. Gaudreau gets knocked, but then takes a shot. That was stopped by Swayman. And then Marchand was able to clear it for a second there. Follow-up try there by Boldy got blocked. And then the Bruins are able to clear it out to center ice. So that is a golden opportunity there for the Wild, but they could not cash in. Andrew says, who is the host tomorrow night for hockey? I do not know currently. At the moment, I don't think we have one for tomorrow, but I'm sure we will probably get one before tomorrow is all said and done. So be patient, Andrew. Again, make sure you got that notification bell up, rared and ready to go, and you will know exactly when these next live watch-alongs happen. 3 minutes gone by here in the third period. Again, still 2-2 here. Number 10 tried to get a long pass that was broken up by the Bruins. Bruins whack it back out into the Minnesota zone, as now John Merrill will go around his net, feed it back over to Dmitry Kulikov. Kulikov, now with the puck, gets it over to John Merrill again. Merrill tries to feed it over. That pass gets deflected. No icing, though, as Jeremy Swayman will play it, fired around the boards to the right side. And now here comes the Bruins the other way. Number 20 gets it over to 81. 81 feeds it over to Foligno. Foligno with a backhand try, and that one is gloved by Talbot. And we'll get a face-off in the Wild zone. 16:21 remaining in the third. Game still tied at 2. Andrew says, how about Friday? Again, I really don't know. As far as I know, I didn't see anybody's name up there, but I'm sure things will change, Andrew, so do not fret. As looks like Kaprizov was getting some skate repairs there after his last shift. Not sure exactly what happened. Andrew asked me, what did I have for dinner? I had Lebanese meatballs a few hours ago. I had that. So that was very, very good indeed. As that shot by Wild is stopped and gloved by Swayman. The shots are now currently 19-17 in favor of the Minnesota Wild. So again, we are almost 4 minutes into the third period, and neither team has 20 shots on goal yet. So if you were hoping that you were going to get a high-flying, lots of shots on goal type of game, you are sadly mistaken in this one. But it's been a good one. Back and forth. The Wild scored the first 2 goals, and then the Bruins were able to come back and tie it. And it's just been a very physical game, several fights, and just a lot of physicality, which is good. As that shot by Dumba got blocked, Brodin keeps it in now for the Wild. Brodin over to Foligno, now gets it back to Brodin. Brodin with a shot that gets blocked to the side, goes over to the left corner. Matt Dumba goes flying, but he's able to keep the puck in for Minnesota for a moment, and then the Bruins are able to clear it out. And now it's a foot race to the puck as Brodin gets there first for Minnesota. Now over to Greenway, tried to backhand, it got blocked by the ref, but luckily it doesn't come to anything, as now Joel Eriksson-Ek comes into the offensive zone for the Wild. He takes a shot, and that one is gloved by Swayman, and then McAvoy and Eriksson-Ek push and shove, and now we got players pushing on either side. Eriksson-Ek and Charlie Coyle are shoving, and they have arms over top each other. Are we getting another fight? Doesn't look like it, but just another one of the many times that we've had. And McAvoy then with a little bit of a cross check on Eriksson-Ek as he gets his face washed with the glove of McAvoy. But tensions rise more and more here in this game. It has been like this since the game got underway. Andrew says, how big is the meatballs? It was relatively size. It was about like maybe that big. So that would be decent size. Andrew says, yum. It was very yummy indeed. Radio says, so you're not going to do another Life Matters this game? I'm not going to do another live watch along tonight, if that's what you mean. I'm not doing a live watch along after this one. That much is for certain, Radio. But I will be doing a couple of more, both for basketball and hockey, over the next couple of days. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it indeed. 15:33 to go here in the third period. Game still tied at 2. So we'll see here we'll see what happens here. Face off to the right of Jeremy Swayman. So ref will wait to drop the puck. He does. Face off won by the Bruins. As now Carlo fires it off the boards and back out to center ice. As Goligoski gets it over to his defensive partner, who just dumps it right back into the Bruins zone. Marchand gets it now for Boston. Gets it over to Carlo. Carlo off the stick of DeBruskin into the Minnesota zone. Now Marchand with a turnaround shot that gets blocked. And now here comes Kirill Kaprizov. He tried to make a pass that got blocked. And now again, Goligoski gets it back from Minnesota. Hartman, long pass over there to Spurgeon. He dodges the defender, has some room, waits. Behind the net, get to the Zuccarello with a sharp angle try up high. And that one is masked aside by Swayman. And then a slapper after that by Gaudreau is stopped and covered by Swayman. So that was a good save. 2 good saves there back-to-back by Jeremy Swayman. And he'll get a face-off in the Boston zone. 14:47 to go in the third period. Game tied at 2. Patrice Bergeron is out of the lineup tonight with a lower body injury. He is first all-time for the Bruins in games played, 5th all-time in goals as well. He will be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. It is kind of a question mark as to what does his future hold. Does he stay in Boston? Does he go somewhere else? Does he retire? A lot of question marks, but we still have some time to figure all those things out. As Matthew Boldy now tried to play it over, gets it to Fiala. Fiala tried to feed it in front to Gaudreau, but it was broken up, and the puck goes all the way back out to center ice. What are your thoughts on some trades today? From that, that's what Danella said. Yeah, well, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Obviously, Ben Sherratt going to Florida, Calle Jarnkrok going to Calgary. Couple of others that have happened off the top of my head. Frank Petrano going from Florida to the New York Rangers. It's been solid so far. But again, like I mentioned before, the trade deadline is this upcoming Monday. So things are slow right now, but they're going to pick up more and more over the next couple of days. So stay tuned for all of these really exciting trades. There's going to be a lot. Andrew says, I'm patient. I'm assuming, or Pat Gain. I'm not sure what that means. Dell says, are you actually watching this game on TNT, Neil, while you do this live watch? Of course I am. That's how I do all these live watch songs. I have to have the game on. And luckily for me tonight, this is on national TV, so I'm right up to date. As that puck deflects out of play, doesn't look like there's going to be a penalty. Charlie McAvoy again with some words for someone on the Minnesota Wild, but we get a stoppage of play here. 13:36 remaining in the third period. Game still tied at 2 here between the Boston Bruins and the Minnesota Wild. Ray Neal says, are you going to do some baseball live stream? If we get the opportunity to, Ray Neal, I think we'll definitely give it a whirl. We shall see once we get closer. What's the difference between an unrestricted free agent and a restricted free agent? A UFA, an unrestricted free agent, Donnell, is somebody who completely is free to sign with whoever, and he doesn't have any rights to another team or anything like that. So he's just free to sign with anybody. A restricted free agent is somebody who their rights are still owned by their previous team, and if they get signed to an offer sheet, if they go and sign with another team, then depending on the player and time and things like that, the team who signs that player actually has to send draft compensation to the player's the player who they signed, their original team that they played for the year before. So obviously, it's a lot harder to sign restricted free agents because you have to give up draft capital. You prefer to sign UFAs because then you don't have to deal with all of that. So that's the difference. Andrew says, "Are you guys streaming Monday all day?" We'll see. We shall see, Andrew. We will see. Jacob says, "I said Boston 3-2 at the start of the stream." You did 3-2 in overtime. You said, Jacob. So you're still on track right now. Blue Jackets right now still up 3-1 over the Senators with 7.5 minutes to go in the third period. Thank you for that update, RJ. Appreciate it, buddy. So I just wanted to flip over for a hot second to something else, but it's been a good game so far. It's been a really good game. And again, I mentioned it back in the second period. This was like 9 minutes to go in the period. I said, whoever is scoring the next goal is probably going to end up winning this game. And the longer that it's been going, the more it seems likely that that's going to end up being the case. So we'll see. We'll see. Charlie McAvoy has been in the middle of a lot of pushing and shoving. He has 5 shots on goal. He's taken a swing at a couple of wild players since this game started. So I wouldn't be surprised if McAvoy really lost his cool at some point and maybe got into something. But the Bruins can't afford to lose him for any point. Charlie McAvoy averages almost 25 minutes of ice time. He has 91 blocked shots so far this season, which leads the Bruins. Very impressive indeed. Now that shot by Pastrnak gets blocked. Follow-up try by Taylor Hall, and that one is stopped by Talbot. And now the Wild look to chip it out of the zone. Big time hit there by McAvoy on a Wild player. It was clean hit, no penalty. Taylor Hall gets there for Boston. Wraps around the boards over to Eric Hollick. He's able to just chip it out of the zone. It's going to go all the way back down into the Wild zone. No icing here. Brodin backhands it over to 21. He gets hit. Minnesota can't get out of the zone. Bruins take a shot, and that one is snuffed out and gloved by Talbot. And we'll get another face-off as Taylor Hall and Matt Dumba after the whistle grabbing each other's jerseys. So this has definitely been another one of the many situations in which these teams have to do something as Duhaime was the one that got hit hard by Charlie McAvoy. It was a clean hit, and then McAvoy actually shoved him after the play. So, Duhaime was one of the 2 guys in that original fight between Duhaime and Friedrich before. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. So that's something to keep an eye on moving forward. But still got 13 minutes to go here. So, by the way, guys, if you hear like the screaming in the other room, it's because my family's watching the Nets game still, and I think it's been a crazy game from what I've heard. Is Connor Clifton with a slapper, and that one is stopped and covered by Cam Talbot. Another face-off in the Wild zone. 12:57 remaining in this one, still tied at 2. Basketball Podcast Network back in the chat saying, what a game. THPN. Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate your support as always. I'll be on your guys' channel for the next 2 days after tonight doing some college basketball tournament games. That will be a lot of fun. Oh my goodness, what a shot I flipped over to the Nets game for a minute, guys, and I just saw Kevin Durant knock down a 3-pointer with 10 seconds to go in that game. So you guys are hearing the screaming and all that stuff. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. As puck gets deflected out, now here come the Wild the other way. It's Marcus Foligno. Nice move around Nosek. He takes a wrist shot that goes wide of the net. Wild keeping it in the zone here. Feeds in front of the net. Now would stick aside by Swayman. Wild still with it. Greenway with a shot. Scramble in front of the crease. Where's the puck? They're still looking for it. It's down on the ice. Everybody's looking for the puck. Finally, Marcus Foligno gets there. Goal didn't end up happening there. Goligoski over to the right side to Spurgeon. He takes a shot. Rebound try. And they score! Jordan Greenway on a rebound. And with 12:04 to go in the third period, the Wild have taken the lead again. It's now 3-2. Boy, things are picking up here in the game that my parents are watching and in this game as Jordan Greenway on this great shift by the third line of Minnesota. Marcus Foligno gets it over to Spurgeon, over to Goligoski, fakes the slapper, over to Spurgeon. He took a shot. Player got knocked down, and Swayman didn't have a chance to make that play. Not sure if it ends up being a goalie interference. We'll see it again here as Clifton actually pushed Eriksson into Swayman, and then Greenway scores on an open net. That's not going to be goalie interference if Clifton ended up being the one that forces Swayman to get interfered with. But as of right now, it's a goal for Minnesota for Jordan Greenway, and the Wild take the lead. Andrew says the NBA game is on TV. That is true. Isha is pumped up. The goal counts. And so, there you go. Jordan Greenway, at the moment, has given the Wild the lead as that shot from center ice is gloved by Talbot. Get a face-off in the Wild zone. 11:52 to go in the third period. Jordan Greenway just moments ago scoring to give the Wild the lead back as they lead it right now 3-2. Oh my. The Dallas Mavericks have just beaten the Brooklyn Nets on a game-winning shot by Spencer Dinwiddie. What a finish there as the Mavs with a win there. That was an unbelievable shot by Spencer Dinwiddie. Back to our game as that shot by Duhaime is stopped and covered by Swayman. Face-off in the Minnesota zone. The Boston zone. 11:43 to go in the third. Wild up 3-2. Andrew says, yes, let's go. Greenway has been great this season. He has. He certainly has, as that's just his 32nd goal of his career. He recorded his 100th career point back on March 8th versus the Rangers. So that's kind of a fun thing. So Greenway has certainly been solid this year, and he gets himself a big-time goal right now. So that was impressive. Andrew says, what? And then Isha says, I love Duhaime. Is Duhaime considered like a not a grind? Is he considered a grinder? Basically, like what is his main role on this team? Out of curiosity, would just like to know because the last Wild game I did when they played Calgary, he was in the middle of a lot of skirmishes as well, kind of being physical. Is that just basically his role with this team? 11:43 to go here. Face-off will be in the Boston zone. McAvoy gets it over. That one's broken up. As now a shot there by Hartman, just kind of a turnaround, is stopped and gloved by Swayman. As it's a slow-moving third period now. Things kind of slowed down as we got still 11:34 to go in the third period. Wild rights still up right now, 3-2. To fuck shit up, he also has an okay shot. Okay, so there you go. That's a little bit of a scouting report on Duhaime. Andrew says, a small coffee, so I'm going to have one. I'll be back. No worries, Andrew. We'll see you in a little bit, buddy. He says, going to be a fan favorite for sure. Still very young. How old is Duhaime? Is he like 23, 24? Like, how old is Duhaime right now? So the Wild have the puck at center ice over the right side. Gets to Brodin. Gets the defensive partner, Matt Dumba. Dumba tried to feed it to a streaking Matt Zuccarello. Got blocked off. Now the Bruins come the other way. 11:11 to go in the third. Here come the Wild again. So he tried to feed over the Kaprizov. It got broken up. Wild trying to keep it in the zone. They do. Kaprizov being pinned by two Bruins players. Intercepted by Craig Smith. Gets it over to Friedrich. He lost it though. Hartman gives it over to Dumba. Dumba with a slapper. And that one is knocked aside by Swayman. Friedrich trying to get it out for Boston. And they do as Charlie Coyle will flip it out. Bruins are 10-1-1 in their last 12 games. So they have certainly been hot of late. But right now, they're in a little bit of trouble, trailing by a goal here with 10.5 minutes to go in the third period. Now they dump it in the zone. Money line right now, presented by DraftKings, plus 350 for the Bruins, minus 550 for the Wild. There's a slap shot there by Fiala, is stopped by Swayman. But those are the updated odds. Again, go to DraftKings right now. use our promo code THPN and drop some money for the Wild or Bruins if you think they're going to win. As that shot by Hall is stopped by Cam Talbot. And now Goligoski will fire it off the boards and out as we've just reached the halfway point of this third period. Wild still leading it right now 3-2. Yeah, he just says 23-24. Yeah, I think. All right, so yeah, that's still very, very young. Hell, that's younger than I am, so that tells you a whole lot. But that's good. And again, that kind of shows you another one of the many really, really good acquisitions, moves, things like that Billy Guerin has done here since he took over as the Wild GM. I'm sure Wild fans are very, very confident with Billy Guerin at the helm. As Swayman tried to play the puck, but wisely covered it as he had Greenway coming after him. And now Swayman will hold it here. So we're going to face off in the Boston zone with 9:30 to go in the third period as Jordan Greenway gave the Wild the lead back as they lead it right now 3-2. And we'll step aside for just a moment to get another word from our sponsors.
All right, team, time to bet NFL games. Confidence.
I'm feeling a parlay with more legs than a spider.
So 9 legs?
Roll the dice, baby.
Indecision?
We pick one home favorite. I abstain.
You can't abstain.
Boring. 6-leg parlay, 2 home dogs, all hitting the over. Boom!
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and feel the NFL action like never before.
So as always, a big shout out to our sponsors at DraftKings Sportsbook for sponsoring this live watch along and everything we do here at the Hockey Podcast Network. As always, guys, make sure to use our promo code when you sign up for DraftKings, THPN. So we got 9:25 to go here in the third period in our game between the Bruins and the Wild. Jordan Greenway, about 3 minutes ago, scored on a rebound to give the Wild the lead back. And that's where we are right now with the Wild up by a goal. Andrew said, I'm back. What happened so far? Well, the last time, not much. Not much. We just kind of went to commercial break. But we got 9 minutes exactly, Andrew, to go in this game with the Wild still up 3-2. Now the Bruins looking to get it out of their zone. Intercepted by Duhaime. Duhaime now with it again. Duhaime stops on a dime at the right faceout circle, gets it top of the point to Dumba, over to Brodin. Brodin gets it over. Number 10 with a shot, and that one gets blocked. Now a long pass here for Brad Marchand. May have a partial breakaway. He takes a wrist shot, and that one is stopped by Talbot. Great chance there for Marchand to get his second and potentially game-tying goal, but a better save there by Talbot. I've done 2 games for the Wild, with the Wild this year where Talbot played and he didn't look good in either one of them. This is the first time I've seen Talbot, watching him live. He's actually played a really good game. He's been really, really good. I'll give him that. as he has stopped 21 of 23 shots he has faced so far in this one. Now the puck is right at the Bruins bench. Both teams got a whacking at it, and then the Wild getting cleared into the Bruins zone. Just job by, Tyson Jost is number 10. He is making his Wild debut after being traded from the Colorado Avalanche in exchange for Nico Sturm. Isha, while you're here, if you're still here, buddy, what do you think of that trade between the Wild and the Avalanche for Jost and Sturm? What are your feelings about that trade? What did you do today? Which you are busy today. For me today was simply like doing a lot of stuff on social media. I did write a new article for Inside the Puck, which I talked about why Jesper Bratt is the most underrated player in the National Hockey League. And that was and I put that out there so you guys can go check it out on my Twitter at THENVPSHOW and go check out InsideThePuck.com to see all the articles that I've written so far. Andrew back in the chat saying, Neil, are you planning to go to another game before the end of the season? Talk about the Devils. I would like to if I have the opportunity, time, and money, Andrew. So we'll see. I would like to at least one more before the season ends. He says, I'm going to be at the Devils Rangers game on Tuesday. Are you going with Jimmy, Andrew? Because I know Jimmy's going to be there with a couple people. But are you going like with him, or is it just a coincidence that you're going and then he's also going? Like, let me know, because I know Jimmy's going to that game. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe I'll do a live watch along for that one. Who knows? We shall see. Now Golgoski plays it over to Jared Spurgeon. Spurgeon with a feed over to Eric's net gets broken up by Boston. They'll fire back into the Minnesota zone. 6.5 minutes remaining in the third period here. Minnesota still up 3-2. It's now Curtis Lazar with the puck. Lazar gets it over to Foligno. Foligno now with it. Foligno still with it. Takes a turnaround shot that gets blocked. And now the Wild are able to get it and clear back out to center ice. Grzelcyk making a move. Nice feed over to Smid. Smid being hounded by two Wild players. Loses the puck and Dumba gets there. Gets over to Greenway, who it just was out of the reach of Greenway. And now Clifton with a shot that gets blocked. Good job there by Eriksson Ek to block it. And then he clears it down. It will not be enough for an icing. Now 28 plays it over to Connor Clifton. Wraps around the boards. Intercepted by Foligno of Minnesota. Eriksson Ek tried to feed it in front to Kaprizov. Got broken up. Kaprizov, turnaround shot that gets deflected by Eriksson Ek and just goes wide. Oh, Eriksson Ek got enough of it. Great deflection, but it just went wide of the net. That would have been a huge goal to get that, to double that lead again. As now Brodin gets over to Kaprizov, and now here come the Wild slowly the other way. As Kaprizov will dump it into the right corner. Boston gets there first. Intercepted by Wild. Takes a shot by Brodin, and now one is stopped through traffic by Swayman. Brodin keeps it in the offensive zone for a moment. McAvoy trying to make it, intercepted by Hardman. Gets over to Kaprizov, who takes a shot. He gets leveled by McAvoy. Gets cross-checked afterwards. And then after the whistle, it's McAvoy and Kaprizov throwing some haymakers. And again, I told you guys, McAvoy has been in the middle of everything in this game when it comes to after the whistle, pushing and shoving. And he knocked down Kaprizov, cross-checked him after the shot already happened, and then he pushed him afterwards. Both McAvoy and Kaprizov with their helmets off. And now cooler heads have prevailed here as we get a stoppage of play. 5:05 to go in the third. Things have heated up here, both on the physical side and on the score sheet here, as we still have the Wild still leading here 3-2. We'll step aside for another moment to get another word from our sponsors. So again, a big shout out to our sponsors at DraftKings Sportsbook for sponsoring this live watch along and everything we do here at the Hockey Podcast Network. Make sure, again, guys, to use our promo code when you sign up for DraftKings, THPM. So we got 5:05 to go here in this really, really intense game between the Boston Bruins and the Minnesota Wild. Guys, again, it's been a good game, back and forth, kind of low scoring with being 3-2. Just a really, really good hockey game. The physicality has been unreal. We just saw just before the commercial break, Charlie McAvoy laid the body on Kirill Kaprizov. And even after the shot happened, McAvoy, while Kaprizov was down, cross-checked him. I can't believe that no penalty was called, but it's just one of the many times where these teams have just hit each other back and forth and just being ultra physical. It has been a game. Imagine these two teams facing off against one another in the Stanley Cup Finals. That would be one hell of a matchup. Andrew says, I have a separate seat away from him, plus I treated myself as a birthday present. Very cool, Andrew. Is it just you that you're going? Or are you going with someone else? Let me know. My best friend and his brother and his brother's wife and my nephew is going to the Leafs game tomorrow night. Very fun, Andrew. Very fun, man. I hope you guys have a great, all those guys have a great time. Andrew says, I might see him around there, though. Well, let him know that you're going, too. Maybe you guys can meet up at one point. Andrew says, I got the game on. Very cool. We appreciate you watching along with us. And again, as always, guys, thank you all so much for hanging out with us tonight. Again, if you're new, leave a like on the stream, as well as subscribe and punch notification bell so you don't miss any new live watch-alongs that we do right here on the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube channel. And again, also, guys, you don't have to, but it is always appreciated. If you also want to donate, you very much can. All donations go back to the host like myself. And so we got another freaking fight going on. It's John Merrill now in the middle of everything. John Merrill and someone, I think it's Craig Smith of the Bruins. What the holy hell is going on in this game? Every time the whistle's blown, there's guys pushing and shoving. It's crazy. John Merrill, the former Devils defenseman, Craig Smith, a very well-respected player on the Boston Bruins, as looks like both guys are going to end up going to the sin bin with 4:22 remaining in the third. So we'll see what happened here. See it again. As we saw the shot here, Craig Smith and John Merrill kind of pushed and shoved, and then afterwards, they just decided to just duke it out. That's what happened. I guess Craig Smith took exception to something, but it looks like we're going to get coincidental minor penalties against both teams. Shots are currently 32-24 in favor of the Wild. Wild have certainly picked it up offensively here in this third period. But it'll be interesting to see, guys, when Bruce Cassidy decides to pull Jeremy Swayman. Because right now they're skating four aside for the next 2 minutes. You got 4:22 to go. This is really a good question as to, do you take the chance now? Do you wait till the 4-on-4 is over? That's a big question mark. It's a big question mark indeed. So we'll see what Bruce Cassidy, the head coach of the Bruins, decides to do here. Andrew says, I'm not going to the game tomorrow. My mistake, Andrew, but still, I hope your friends and all those people have a great time nonetheless. Andrew says, I love these games that scuffles go off every other play. Very entertaining. Yeah, really, like I said before, it has the makings for a playoff game. It feels like a playoff game. It feels like a playoff atmosphere. It's awesome. I absolutely love how this game has been going since it started. I'm just really taken aback by how physical it is. It's really quite an entertaining game, to say the least. Andrew says, your TV is faster than mine. I'm just lucky, I guess. I don't know. Face-off won by Minnesota. They come the other way slowly here. They stay on side. Wrist shot there by Alex Net gets blocked. 4 minutes exactly to go. Dumbo holds it now, looking for help. Gets it over to Brodin. Just misses him, but Brodin still gets to the puck. Brodin tried to chip it around McAvoy, but McAvoy intercepts it, gets it over to Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall with a lot of open ice. He's got Pasternak with him, drops it off to McAvoy. McAvoy tried to weave through defenders, and then Pasternak with a shot that just goes wide. Kelly now with it, over to Pasternak. Pasternak back to Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall, left faceoff circle, holds, gets it over to Kelly, but it was broken up, intercepted by Matt Dumba. Now the Wild have the puck behind their own net as teams make a change. 3:24 to go in the third period. 1 minute to go on the 4-on-4 here, with the Wild still leading it 3-2. As now here comes Gaudreau. He drop passes it over to Fiala. Kevin Fiala coming up the left side. He takes a sharp angle try that gets blocked by Charlie Coyle. Fiala gets it right back on the right side, being pinned by Grzelcyk and Charlie Coyle. Gaudreau trying to help out Fiala. Who's going to get to that puck? It's going to be Marchand. Gets it over to Charlie Coyle. Coyle backhands it over to Matt Grzelcyk. Matt Grzelcyk will settle it right now. 2:51 to go in the third period. 30 seconds to go on the 4-on-4. Andrew says, it's not the same, though, like it used to be years ago. Fights were brutal back then. Very, very true. It's not hockey is not what it used to be, but we get glimpses every now and then. RJ letting me know the Blue Jackets officially beat the Ottawa Senators by the score of 4-1. Thank you, RJ, for that update, buddy. Appreciate it. Tampa game is at 10:22. Yeah, they're just waiting for this game that we are doing right now to end, which could end in a couple minutes. It could go longer depending on what the Bruins are able to do in the final 2 minutes and 48 seconds. Faceoff will be in the Boston zone. I would expect in the next minute or so, maybe even 30 seconds, if the Bruins could get into the offensive zone to pull Swayman. Is now Spurgeon with a backhand try that's easily covered by Swayman. And Charlie Coyle, the former Minnesota Wildman himself, who got traded back in 2019 to his hometown Boston Bruins, having some words with his former teammate Jared Spurgeon. Andrew, let me know. Devils and Flames are underway. That currently is at no score, 10:55 to go in the first period. Thank you for that update, Andrew. I will obviously be watching that game once our live watch along here between Minnesota and Boston comes to an end. So we got 2:43 to go in the third, 20 seconds to go in the 4-on-4. That's Goligoski with a shot that gets deflected by Zuccarello, but it goes wide of the net. Charlie Coyle now with it, slowly makes his way, gets it over to Pastrnak. David Pastrnak has had a very quiet night. He comes up the center of the ice and will hold to wait for his teammates. Pasternak's still with it now. 3 seconds, 2-1, and that'll do it for the 4-on-4. So teams are back to even strength. 2:20 to go in the third. Wild still leading it here, 3-2. So we'll see here, again, when Bruce Cassidy decides to pull Swayman for the extra skater. Charlie Coyle now with it. Drops it off to Pastrnak. Pastrnak slowly tries to feed it over. It's intercepted by Minnesota. Zuccarello gives it over to Kaprizov. Kaprizov trying to make his way. He holds. He'll just use the power move. Gets it back over on his backhand. Loses the puck, and that one is taken away as Pastrnak gets knocked down. Now Marchand will just dump it into Cam Talbot, and he'll slowly play it over. 1:45 to go in the third period. Kaprizov now with it. He dumps it into the right corner. Bruins have still yet to be able to pull Jeremy Swayman. They need to pull him soon if they want to get a chance for the extra skater. Matt Dumba with a shot that goes wide of the net. Brodin keeps it in for the Wild. Matt Grzelcyk now gets over for Boston. Tried to feed it over to his teammate Taylor Hall, but it's intercepted by Minnesota, and they'll just dump it right back in. 1:20 to go in the third. Wild still holding on to a 1-0 lead. A 1-goal lead. They're up 3-2. They still have yet to be able to pull Swayman. Taylor Hall behind his own net, and now there goes Swayman to the bench. So now the Bruins have the extra skater, 6-on-5. Taylor Hall comes in, dumps on the left side. It gets broken up. Minnesota now with it. Tyson Jost gets it over. Jost gets it again, feeds over to his teammate, and the Wild cleared out of the zone. 55 seconds to go in the third period. Bruins again with a shot, and that one is stopped and covered by Talbot. 51 seconds to go in the third. The Wild right now still holding on to a 3-2 lead. Andrew says, I got my hockey and basketball and Friends TV shows on now. Love the multitasking. As Bruce Cassidy calls a timeout here with 51 seconds. And then the Bruins will look to set something up here with the extra skater still needing a goal to tie. Andrew lets me know that the Calgary Flames have taken a 1-0 lead over the New Jersey Devils. So that is not ideal. Hopefully the Devils can bounce back and get themselves going here. Still early in the game, so nothing to worry about just yet. But we'll see if things progress. As the goal was scored by Brett Ritchie, the former Toronto Maple Leaf. He scored at the 10:17 mark. He says Wild has to win this one. Honestly, you look at it like Boston is only worried about trying to keep keep the first wild card position or try to get higher up in the standings. But as far as losing a playoff spot, they don't really have much to worry about. Minnesota, with how much of a traffic jam it is in the Western Conference, especially the wild card, it's a lot more of a challenge. So Minnesota certainly needs to win this game, Isha. You're 100%. Brett Ritchie with the goal. Yes, you are correct. Andrew says, I lose my pick. What pick are you talking about, Andrew? Let me know. Face-off won by the Bruins. They'll look to set it up. They have the extra skater on right now. Charlie Coyle takes a shot. That one gets blocked. Now the Wild look to try to get out of the zone. Marcus Foligno fires it off the boards and back into the Bruins zone. No icing here. 38 seconds to go in the third. Charlie McAvoy now coming up center ice with speed. McAvoy being hounded by Eriksson Ek. Loses the puck. Eriksson Ek tried to get there. Eriksson Ek now takes a hit on Charlie Coyle. Loses the stick. He'll have to go to the bench to get a new one. Bruins taking into the offensive zone. 20 seconds to go here. Boston trying to set something up. He comes back out of the zone again. 14 seconds to go here. McAvoy drops it off to Pasternak. Pasternak loses the puck. It's intercepted by Hartman, and Hartman will just easily fire it into the empty net, and he scores with 4.9 to go. And the Wild have put this one away as they are 5 seconds away from a big victory against the Boston Bruins as Ryan Hartman with the exclamation point, his 24th of the season, now 6 shy from a 30-goal season as Pasternak tried to deke past. Actually, he just tried to backhand pass it to a teammate on the right side. Hartman blocked it, had all day to go get that puck, and just easily tapped it into the empty net. This game when I said 5-3, well, I just lost my pick because I said 3-2 Minnesota in regulation, and Hartman scored that empty netter. So I come oh so close. But 3 seconds, 2-1, and that will do it. As the Minnesota Wild, in a very physical, big-time hitting game that required basically everything, come away with a massive victory on national TV at home as they defeat the Boston Bruins by the score of 4-2. So Jordan Greenway gets the game winner. He scored it earlier in the third period, and the Wild come away with a massive victory to keep pace in the tight Western Conference playoff standings. So that was a fun game, ladies and gentlemen. I had a lot of fun doing it with you guys. As Andrew says, GG. Definitely a great game all around. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me tonight for this live watch along. As always, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us all night long. This was a blast. Had a lot of fun indeed. Make sure to follow the Hockey Podcast Network on all social media platforms at HockeyPodNet. Like and subscribe to the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube channel, THPN. New live watch-alongs every single day here on the channel, covering every single team in the NHL. Make sure to follow me on my social media at THENVPSHOW on Twitter and on Instagram at NVPQB11. Go check out all the hockey podcasts here on the Hockey Podcast Network, covering every single team in the NHL, including the Devil's State of Mind podcast, which covers all things New Jersey Devils. New episodes every Monday and Thursday, covering everything you need to know about the New Jersey Devils. Follow us on Twitter at Devil's State, Instagram at Devil's State of Mind. Like us on Facebook, and you can find the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure to go on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify and give us a 5-star rating. Would appreciate it. Andrew says, have a happy St. Paddy's Day, everyone. Thank you, Andrew. You do as well, my friend. Good to see you as always. Andrew says, you too. Andrew says, rock on. Love it. Zach, unfortunately, just came in the chat as we're wrapping it up. He is not happy, as you can see. Sorry to hear that, Zach. But again, man, Zach, before you go and everything, just to show support as always, leave a like on the stream while you're here. Really does help out the channel. But sorry that the Bruins could not get it done for you, buddy. But hope to see you in the next one. Andrew let me know that Seattle is currently up 1-0 on Tampa. But that is going to do it for me again. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me tonight. And we will see you in the next live watch along. Once again, the final score here from this one, the Minnesota Wild come up with a big victory on home ice against the Boston Bruins by winning by the score of 4-2. everyone continue to be the awesome people that you are. And as I always say at the end of every live watch along, as Zach says, I got you, my guy. All good. Thank you, Zach. But as I always say at the end of every live watch along, rock on.